Boom. Yes, allow access. Oh, we good? There we go. Okay. Whoa, 5. Alrighty. Where's my bottle opener? Another day. The hell is that? Why does YouTube look like that? Weird. What's going on with the hair? What's going on with the hair today? It's like, fuck. I need a haircut, dude. What's going on? What's going on? It's excessive. Just too long. Way too long. It's just way too long. Fuck, I was supposed to get a haircut this week. Shit. Oh well. It is what it is. It is what it is. Maybe I can get one on Monday. Maybe I can get one on Monday. Now what's going on? What's going on in the world? Dasha's an actress? I mean, I never watched a single minute of her podcast, but I don't know if she was an actress. What has she been in? Upcoming film Iconoclast? The Heliante? What has she been in? What's her name? What's her last name? Nekrasova.
This is the first time I've done this. How does it go?
Oh, is that what's her name?
Votre ADN. Vous avez déjà posé de vos vies antérieures. Vous nettoyez les traumatismes dont vous avez hérité depuis des siècles.
Oh, what's her name? What's her name? What has she been in? She has an active IMDb. I haven't heard of any of this shit. What is PBT? Materialists? The Beast? What is the Beast? That's what's her name. Yeah, Leia? I don't know. I've never heard of this movie. What is this? Huh. Yeah, I didn't know she had a career. Strange.
Soca sin para. Sin para. Soca.
That's pretty cool.
Soca se para, soca, soca se para, soca se para, soca se
That's kind of neat. Neat little edit. I've got hacked by Rubio.
Investigation into what happened. When he arrived, he discovered a disturbing fact. The FBI released Crooks's body for cremation 10 days after July 13th. This wasn't known to the public until Higgins arrived in Butler on August 5th, when the coroner told the congressman, quote, he would never have released Crooks's body to the family for cremation or burial without specific permission from the FBI. The timing of Crooks's cremation is notable. The day Crooks's body was burned was also the day the House Homeland Security and Oversight Committees had begun their investigations into the shooting. The fact the body was cremated made it impossible for investigators outside the FBI to verify the coroner and autopsy report. You can't do a new tox screen because the body doesn't exist. According to Higgins, quote, this action by the FBI can only be described by any reasonable man as an obstruction to any following investigative effort. Another notable detail is that photos from the day after the shooting show an FBI agent hosing down the site where Crooks died. High-level intelligence officials and congressional sources told us this is very strange, and that the FBI usually hires out crime scene cleanup to third-party contractors. But in this case, they did it themselves, leaving no blood and no tissue for anyone else to analyze. In the photo, the agent's shirt says he's from the Technical Hazards Response Unit, a unit that collects traditional forensic evidence contaminated with hazardous materials.
Weird.
After the shooting, the FBI sent Crooks's phone to the Bureau's laboratory at Quantico, Virginia.
What's going on, Rosalind?
Agents there were
Is it
able to
Rosalind
open it
or Rosaline?
in less than 40 minutes using technology from an Israeli tech firm called Celebrate. According to the Post, FBI officials who served under President Joe Biden accessed Crooks's phone, computer, and his encrypted messaging apps in Belgium, New Zealand, and Germany. Yet none of the online activity the FBI has discovered was referred to in any way in the final congressional report that was released in December of 2024.
By the way, why do we still know nothing about that guy in Butler? What's going on?
That was a good question, a question that most people thought would be
Rosalind?
answered by the new
Okay.
administration. Within weeks of retaking office, Donald Trump told the New York Post's Miranda Devine that he had, quote, ordered the Secret Service on Friday to provide him every bit of information about his two would-be assassins.
You've had 2 assassination attempts. One, obviously, where you got hit by that bullet in Butler. There's a lot of frustration that we still don't know about that shooter in Butler. And we don't know about his communications. We get stonewalled all the
Isn't it crazy how this whole event just got memory hold? You know, I remember, like during the time of the assassination, everybody was speculating, and at one point there was even this, I don't know if I would call it a theory, but there were claims that it wasn't actually Crooks, but some other ex-Marine, ex-Ukrainian Foreign Legion guy. And some of the pictures of the suspected dead shooter looked a lot more like the guy that served in Ukraine than Crooks. And I don't recall there ever being if that ever being debunked or if there was an explanation for that. But the whole thing just kind of faded into obscurity.
time asking questions about it.
Just got all
Is
the
there
whole thing
frustration
got
on your
memory
part?
hold.
Will we get transparency? Will we know the bottom line story?
It's very interesting because we have great people. I think Pam is incredible. I think Cash is incredible. And they're doing a great job. They're being recognized as doing a great job.
But you're the president. Can't you find out?
No, I know. I'm relying on my people to tell me what it is.
But his people insist there's nothing there, and they don't seem interested in finding out more.
How come we don't have more information on the assassination attempts on President Trump?
There's two reasons, two open, ongoing prosecutions.
Dude, I was actually thinking about that earlier today when I saw Tucker's upload. The fact that we've heard no new developments in over a year, essentially, since the attempt, is, to say the least, bizarre. I mean, there's all kinds of weird shit going on with that. First of all, if you look at the event itself, it's highly unlikely that this attempt didn't occur without some level of insider help, some level of collusion, because it's such an egregious breach of security protocol that the rooftop, not just any rooftop, but a rooftop, one, with a clear line of sight within 200 meters of where President Trump would be speaking, an elevated line of sight, but two, was also garrisoned by Secret Service. There were Secret Service supposedly in that building when the shooting took place. There's no way that could possibly happen under normal circumstances. It's so egregious that it's like, how could this just be a lapse in judgment? How could this just be an oopsie? Oops, we just forgot to secure the obvious sight line, an obvious sniper position. I refuse to believe that. That's just, to me, if it's my first day as Trump's chief of security, and I go where, what am I going to do? I'm going to go where Trump's going to be standing and speaking, and I'm going to look around. I'm going to look around and I'm going to say, oh, look, there's a clear sniper spot. That's a rooftop elevated roughly, 15, 20 feet or so off the ground. If I were a shooter, where would I be? Where? It's like so glaringly obvious. It doesn't take like an ex-special operations guy with 20 years career of like HVT protection service to put two and two together. The whole thing was a security disaster. That's why I don't think it was a security disaster in that sense. I think it was to some degree intentional. There's something going on here, and I can't say entirely for sure, which party is culpable or whom exactly. But the fact that like who exactly is held accountable for this? If something like this were to happen, you'd think like dozens of people would be fired and investigated. Dozens. Just think about that for a second. It is so glaringly bad. It is so egregious that the idea that this is just like an honest mistake is actually, I think, hard to believe. You would have to be so unbelievably incompetent that you probably wouldn't get the job in the first place because it would have been obvious. So, what is going on here? Let's just think about this for a second. Who would have a vested interest in killing Trump? Or, at the very least, we could take it a step further and say, who would have a vested interest in an attempt at Trump's life? And I think there are probably, and we have to rewind the clock a little bit to 2024 in the summer. There are a couple of potential, I think, culprits, suspects, I would say. I think first and foremost, maybe some Democrat or deep state op that still, and this is still true, that maybe thought that Trump was really a threat to the establishment. I don't think in reality that he is. I think he is the establishment. I think at this point that's clear. But then, and even now, a lot of people still think he's this existential threat to our American way of life. A lot of people still buy into that. And frankly, the Democrats, if it was some kind of Democrat or deep state op that would prefer to have Kamala or whatever, then, clearly the campaign was not like, say what you will about how Trump ran his campaign. Kamala's campaign was a disaster. You ask any insider, anyone that worked on her campaign, it's an open secret. Like, they didn't know what they were doing. They didn't know what her platform on the issues were going to be. They didn't know what the messaging was going to be. It's like every time she stepped in front of a camera, there was some embarrassing event where she displayed her ignorance. What's up, Smelly? How's it going? I have two shows going on at the same time? What the fuck? Did YouTube fuck up? Wait, that's bizarre. What? Why do I have two? Where did this title come from? Okay, hang on. Something fucked up on YouTube. Okay, this is what I'll do. I'm gonna end. What? Elon crash? Dude, that was like months ago. That was like, what the fuck is this shit? Okay. What is going on? Okay, I will just delete the other one, I guess. So if you're on if the title says Elon crash out, come over to the other stream. What is going on? Okay. Is everything good now? Do I only have one stream live? One is vertical, probably. YouTube is doing that now. How you were ignoring us? Like, yeah, that was weird, man. That was weird. I've never had that happen before. I wonder, maybe is that my fault? Did I do something wrong? Maybe that was my fault. I'm not really sure. Damn, that was weird. That's freaky. So many H1Bs working at YouTube, I guess. Oh. Man, it's really catching up to us, huh? Anyway, what was I saying? Shit, I just lost my train of thought. That might have been my fault. Maybe I pressed. Most of you don't know how this works, but I'll try to explain. When I press go live, I still have to press go live on YouTube, and I wonder if the order matters because I think I pressed live on OBS first, and then I set it up on YouTube. Whereas usually I set it up on YouTube first, and then I press go live. But I don't know why it would default and create two separate streams. Because I still have to, on the website, verify go live. I don't know, whatever, you know? Hey, maybe it was my fault. Who knows? And what was I talking about? Oh, yeah. Back to the Trump assassination. Kamala's campaign was a disaster. Fuck. Anyway, yeah, 2024, there was a lot of ambiguity on whether, like, because, you know, Trump was saying a lot of stuff. Oh, yeah, if I was in office, Ukraine never would have happened. And so it could have been some kind of Ukrainian op, deep state or otherwise, some kind of, and that sort of gives a little more credibility to the theory that the shooter was not Crooks and this other guy. And that whole, like I said, that whole thing got memory hold. I don't recall seeing like any kind of explanation or, you know, any debunk of that theory, especially when the FBI like purged the scene of DNA evidence. But I remember seeing that picture, and I remember seeing the comparisons, you know, the picture of the dead shooter. And, you know, I believe it was authentic, but I never saw any debunk. So we all just got memory hold. As a random bot from YouTube customer service. Might be. Might be. Is that my fault? I don't know. Look. I just put the shit in the computer. I press go live. I don't want to think about it. I don't want to have to go through 6 different tabs, 6 different websites or whatever. I didn't even know it was possible to have 2 streams at once. How is that possible? What other platform allows you to have 2 streams at once? That's crazy. Anyway. So it could have been the Ukraine op. Some people thought it was Israel, but I never really saw that angle. You know? I mean, maybe at that point in time, Trump wasn't a sure thing. They did, many in that camp preferred somebody maybe like Haley, Nikki Haley, or, even somebody like Ron DeSantis. And if Trump died, it would have been a tug of war. It would have been a battle for, essentially who could lick the Israeli boot harder. But, Trump gave Israel everything they ever wanted. So why not ride off of his aura, ride off of his orbit, his political pull? So I never quite really, I never thought that the Israeli angle was the most compelling. And so I remember some people, surprisingly, gave a little more credibility to that. But I don't rule it out, though. I certainly don't rule it out. And then, of course, so we have Democrat or deep state of sorts. We have Ukraine or Israel. I guess maybe you could you might even blame Russia, but again, I don't think Russia would really want Trump dead. I think they would probably at that point in time would have preferred Trump than, Biden or Harris at that point, because the Democrat, Biden admin was more hawkish on Russia than Trump. But now, hindsight 2020, despite Trump's better efforts to try to end the war, it wages on. So not much has really changed in practice in terms of how we are approaching the Ukraine war. So, CCP, China, not sure about that angle either. I think the culprit would be more domestic. I think. And then, of course, lastly, I think, is this some kind of like false flag? Did this come from the GOP? Was the whole thing staged of sorts? You have to, let's weigh all the options here. And I don't think the whole thing was a hoax, obviously. I mean, they used live ammunition. They expect bodies in the wreckage, brother. Whether some people think like, well, did Trump's ear get hit or not? Was it fake? I think it's more likely that all of that is real. I think Trump did get grazed. Obviously, somebody died. I think they were using real ammunition. Is it possible that there was a second shooter or something? I mean, but now you're getting really convoluted. Some people thought they saw another shooter at the water tower, some ways further away. They saw maybe somebody up there. There were pictures of what looked like a person on that water tower. And, that was never confirmed nor debunked as far as I'm aware. Could have been Secret Service. So how would they conduct? If this were a false flag, how would it be conducted? Okay, well, Crooks is the patsy, and then you would have a second shooter using live ammunition. And, the lack of transparency with the crime scene, could be obfuscated. But, now we're getting into really convoluted territory that I think is just harder to pull off. And I think with Occam's razor, this is less likely. But just to play devil's advocate, his campaign was also not doing well. Didn't really have the energy. People were really not buying into Trump, and it was really the assassination attempt that gave him this huge surge in popularity. It gave him really exactly what he needed to win the election. And we got the hardest political picture probably of the last century of him with his fist raised and all of that. But even that is just like hard to... In what fucking world would that be allowed to happen? And you could say it's a matter of DEI hires, okay, Secret Service is having problems, recruiting people. I have a hard time believing you would allow this. And he's a big guy, but he's like pushing 80. You've got like how many, like 6 or 7 guys, you know, one woman, but 6 or 7 like grown ass men, half Trump's age, dedicated to his protection, and they're allowing him, after just getting literally shot in the ear, to raise his fist up like that. That's fucking whack. That doesn't make any sense to me. So either that's like gross incompetence, or you could make the case that it was all intentional. And I'm just playing devil's advocate here. But something's not adding up. Something is not adding up about all of this. And they were the C team. I guess protecting Trump is the C, D, E, and F team or whatever. But how, like, there's just no fucking way they're that incompetent. And look, and if they are, then God help us all. Like, what does that say about who's running our country then? If the Secret Service are that incompetent, well, what about the people hiring and the people responsible for these teams? And the fact that the investigation has, what investigation, you know? What does that say? Like, if we are to truly believe that this was purely a matter of incompetence, then you have to ask the question, well, how deep does this incompetence go? And I guess, again, you know, as I sort of think through this, with how incompetent we've seen Trump's admin, maybe it's not outside the realm of possibility that all these people are just fucking retarded. But then we're cooked. If that's true, then we are more cooked than we realize. This admin is more cooked than we realize. I mean, it's already beyond salvageable, but if this is like, if they truly just drop the ball in this investigation, then it's like, okay, well, if they're not willing to investigate who killed the president of the United States or make that more transparent, get to the bottom of it and hold people accountable, then how are we going to get to the bottom of any kind of investigation in the government or hold anybody accountable for anything? And when you put that in the context of like the Epstein files, the fact that you know, they put a big bait and switch on that. And now, you know, they went from saying there are no Epstein files. Okay, we're releasing the Epstein files. It's a Democrat hoax, actually. So now, oh, there are more files coming out and there's more to come, presumably. How can you trust anything these people say? And so you have to look at everything with skepticism. And there's a lot to look at. So when you look at this Crooks assassination, or the assassination and the attempt, and this Crooks character, you know, and there's weird stuff like he was in a BlackRock ad. That's bizarre. You know, was he groomed for this? You know, maybe let's say Crooks is the shooter, which is probably the most likely explanation. It is weird. It is weird. And now I guess what we're reacting to now is, you know, they lied about his social media history. That he was probably, and what does that indicate? What does that imply? That he was probably on the radar. Left-wing terrorist of sorts. All too frequent nowadays. So that if they lied about that, well, it's like, why? Trump is the president. Kash Patel, Dan Meatball Bongino, head of the Secret Service and FBI. And what is the excuse for not looking into this and getting to the bottom of it? And it's particularly egregious from somebody like Dan Bongino, you know, who was ex-Secret Service, now working in the FBI. And his whole thing for years, I could never really stand the guy because I just think, you know, I have family who listen to him and I'm like, why are you listening to this fucking guy? He's a total fraud. It's fucking meatball. He's getting up there. These fucking deep state. These Epstein files, pedophiles. When they actually get into a position of power to do something like, hey, buddy, our team won, our guy won. You can just do. I thought we can just do stuff now. Now all of a sudden there are no Epstein files. We're not going to investigate any further on Trump, the assassination attempt on Trump. We're not going to try to prevent this from happening in the future. We're not going to take this seriously in the way that, if the roles were reversed, if someone, let's say Kamala won, or let's say it was Joe Biden's presidency and a right-wing terrorist tried to take a shot at one of those two, the Democrats would throw the fucking book at us. We would practically be under martial law and mass surveillance. That. That they would stop at nothing. No expense, too expensive. All expenses, no holds barred. They would stop at nothing to absolutely crush not just the most radical elements of their political opposition, but just their political opposition entirely. They'd be absolutely ruthless in that. So it's like, pick your poison. Are these people fucking incompetent bozos? Or is there something more nefarious going on? So, he was not the president at the time. I lived in DC. 90% of the people in positions they are in are just dead space. 10% do the real work. Call him Crash Patel. Yeah. Do you know who Nicholas Irving is? The sniper guy? Was that the I forgot his name. Was that the guy who was they suspected, the Ukrainian Foreign Legion guy? This is all not fresh in my memory. This is from over a year ago. But no, I didn't do I don't have a deep dive on him. Yeah, people from New York City just rub most Americans the wrong way. Black Death. This sniper guy said if someone wanted to get the president clipped, they could easily. Who is he exactly? Nicholas Irving? He's just some sniper guy talking about it. Don't we think that's kind of a problem? He's an Army Ranger. Okay, so it's not the guy I'm talking. I forgot the other guy's name. Like I said, this is not fresh in my memory. But yeah, I don't know, man. The thing is, he was on the Sean Ryan show on YouTube. Okay, I'm gonna say, he might be right, but the problem is, dude, a lot of those guys, a lot of those ex-military guys that go on these podcasts, a lot of them just talk shit. A lot of them are full of shit, quite frankly, and they talk tough and they have their hot take. I know that this is probably a hot take, but a lot of those guys are full of shit. a lot of those Spec Ops guys are full of shit. And I know that's not probably not a popular thing to say, but they just lie all the fucking time. And it's how could you really fact check a lot of them? If they're on some, if they're talking about some obscure op from 10 years ago when they were a tier 1 operator, all of that information is going to be classified. And how much is a DO, the Department of War now, how much are they really going to give a shit if they're building aura for the defense industry? Are they going to correct the record? Are they going to say, actually, this guy's not as much of a badass as he says? Or are they going to allow that to fuel recruitment numbers? So he said Secret Service is useless against someone that can fight back. If you listen, either full of shit or straight psycho killers. Yeah, obviously it's not all of them, but there's a clear problem in the Spec Ops community. There's a clear problem with with character. The guy's a full psycho. Got 33 bodies. 33, interesting number. Yeah. Look, it's just. I mean, I suppose that's plausible. If you were a trained tier 1 guy and you really wanted to take out the president, you'd obviously have a much better time than somebody like Crooks, who what was the claim? He was not really a competent shooter, kind of an average person. What's up, DeAndre? How's it going, dog? You know, it's just like, maybe, but then how do you get away with it? Who would be putting that person up to it, and then how do you get away with it? Because even if you look at like the JFK assassination, I mean, like there were breadcrumbs all over the fucking place. Not exactly a good cover-up. So even if like Mossad, even if like the Israeli mafia couldn't pull off a clean hit without leading a trail back to the culprit, then I don't know. I don't think it's as like, yeah, you could maybe pull it off, but think of the consequences of that. You know, you would have to be totally like, first of all, you'd have to be kind of suicidal, because the odds of you getting out of that unscathed are near zero. And then if you're working for somebody else, another, you know, let's say like a foreign agency or something, you know, you have to depend on them to shield you or not burn you from like the American political machine that would be gunning for them. Like, let's just say hypothetically, Israel took out our president today. Can you imagine the fucking backlash? You want to talk about like, you think they could cover that shit up in this day and age? That's just one example. But I think people are too locked in right now. So if like Israel is implicated in something that happened in the 60s with, you know, shitty cameras and relying on eyewitness testimony and whatnot, how do you get away with something like that when everybody has a cell phone camera? So, got off work. Nice. Relax. Enjoy your Friday. Nice, relaxing Friday. Clink. Cheers. Yeah, so yeah, I don't know. Like, again, I think you could pull it off, but I think getting away with it would be damn near impossible. It's one thing when you're taking out like a CEO of a company that doesn't have security, you know? It's another thing when you're taking out the most protected person in the public eye, ostensibly, in a highly publicized and recorded event. And maybe you could, and that's where, okay, maybe it was an inside job. You could talk about that. You know, maybe it was all intentional. So that lapse in security was a feature, not a bug. But yeah. But then that the argument that you know, an ex-Spec Ops guy could do it is contingent on, it's presupposed that he's allowed to. So anyway,
But we have personally invested our time in.
These guys, okay, remember when they came out and said this? Well, this is a different story. But when they came out, when they were talking about the Epstein files, dude, both of these fucking doofuses looked like scared shitless. Even like Pam Bondi looked like there was somebody like off camera with a gun or something. So either like they know that this is like they're lying. And I remember like I think Pam Bondi took her cross off for that. They know they're lying. They know it's wrong. Maybe they got a glimpse into it and they know what Trump is that the public doesn't. Maybe they're being threatened. Who knows? But they don't look honest. They don't look jubilant. They don't look like they're revealing, you're bringing light to this injustice. They look scared. They look sheepish. The body language was very telling. So I think Secret Service useless, TBH. How often are they put IRL situations? Well, it's kind of like they're always working, though. I mean, they're always working on protocol. I mean, like, I don't know. It's like, do you need to have the president constantly like under actual gunfire to learn anything or to refine your tactics? I don't think you do. I mean, I don't think they're like perfect by any means. I don't think there are any like, you know, chinks in the armor or anything like that. I think there will inevitably be gaps in security, but you know that just comes with reality. But I mean, a lot of like the people they recruit have like extensive experience in some way, shape, or form, either like in law enforcement or in military. And then you're just constantly on the job. And it's not even that you're just on the job, but it's a very public facing job. You can't hide. So like you're out in front of the cameras, everybody can see what you're doing. That, I think that kind of changes things a little bit, because now it's harder to slack off when you know you're being watched, not just by your superiors, but by literally everybody. Everyone is like, you're right next to the person you're trying to protect as he's giving a speech or something. And you know that like your entire career, your reputation, everything is on the line. You know, it changes the game a little bit. Like, what would a good analogy be? It's like if you've ever played a sport and you have a crowd, you know, there's a bit of electricity. There's a bit more, there's a little more at stake. You're a little more locked in than when you're just like practicing or something. Or even if you have like a tournament, for example. If you ever played sports, I know not everyone has, but like, there's a difference between like playing in like your school's gymnasium or whatever in front of like all of the other students, like the student body, versus like playing in like a tournament on the weekend where it's just like other teams and like maybe the odd parent here and there. I know this is like a deep pull. This is like weird, but the point I'm trying to make is, yeah, I think they're human, but I don't think they're incompetent. So anyway, yeah, the stakes are raised, the stakes are higher, and yeah, that definitely changes the calculus.
Making sure that we have looked at any possible international connections to terrorism and adversaries alike. And we've both been down to Quantico. We've both done the laboratory testing. We've both seen the explosives analysis. We've both seen the firearm and physically held it. We are all in on these investigations.
Are we going to be surprised at what you learned?
You know what? This might be off topic, but this is so characteristic of this Trump admin. It's always, we are working on this. We're thinking about doing that. We're talking about doing this. We want to do that. Just fucking do it. Just produce the results. Cough up the goods. Stop talking about it. We want to ramp up. JD Vance came out today. We want to ramp up deportations. Well, don't tell me about it. Like, do it. Fucking, what do you mean we want to ramp up? I thought it was, we're going to do it day one. What happened to that? So, I don't know, man. It's crazy.
Maria, Cash is not kidding. We've been personally briefed extensively on every single detail, nugget, tendril of this case. One is actively in court right now, so out of respect for the case, it's probably more appropriate that I stay quiet on that. However, I'm not going to tell people what they want to hear. I'm going to tell you the truth, and whether you like it or not is up to you. If there was a big explosive there, right? Given my history as a Secret Service agent and my personal friendship as a director does with the president, give me one logical, sensible reason we would not have. If you can think of one, there isn't. There in some of these cases, the there you're looking for is not there.
What a baffling thing to say.
Baffling. Someone get on their alt Bob account speakers in too good of a mood today. I was actually really fucking agitated before I was actually in a really shit mood today. Like, it's one of those days, but even like the news was like pissing me off. Like I opened Twitter, what's going on? Oh, it's a 10-year anniversary of that terrible Muslim terrorist attack that happened in Paris 10 years ago. Remember that? And more like, just like all these new pieces of evidence or revelations about just like how much H1Bs are a scam. Do you know that like 80% of junior and entry level tech jobs are held by H1Bs? And those can make up anywhere of like 20 to like 40 or 50% of the total number of jobs at these tech companies. Just think about that for a second. So if you're a young person, dude, just get this, like, young people, Gen Z is just getting fucking raped. It's actually crazy. So at least it's becoming politically expedient to be anti-H1B, but we need to take that 10 steps further. Because it's not just the H1Bs, it's the L1s, it's all these other, the student visas, the visas and green cards you get from marriages, birthright citizenship. And so, I know like there's plenty of white pills to be dropping, but that doesn't make things, that doesn't make our situation not frustrating. The situation we find ourselves in. Oh wow, every nugget and tendril. Oh, Comcast. Which one? Which alt account? Tech is a big scam. It is, man. It's so fucking cooked. And I'm so tired of being lectured by boomers, by foreigners, about how we should act or how we should think or what's actually in our best interest. Whether it's Dinesh D'Souza, Vivek Ramaswamy, or Elon Musk, or Ben Shapiro. I'm tired of being called stupid. I'm tired of being called lazy. I'm tired of being told America doesn't have potential. Like, fuck all that, man. We put a man on the moon. We own the world. We didn't do that with H1Bs. We didn't do that with a bunch of lying scam artists from India. I don't know, man. Yeah, I need my marriage green card. I'm voting blue if you threaten it. Yeah, where are you gonna get your future wife from, Kumquat? Where are you gonna passport bro off to? But I consider myself to be like a pretty reasonable guy. I consider myself to be like somewhat even-tempered. And Kumquat can attest to this, although, you know, my mom would probably say the contrary. But I think I'm a fairly patient person too. You know, sometimes, and look, sometimes I'm eccentric about it. Sometimes, you know, I see the opportunity to make a joke about it, be more animated or more, you know, performative than I otherwise really am. You know, jester type shit. But I can only imagine how other people that, like, how they're feeling right now, and maybe they're not as patient, or even empathetic. I don't know, man. Nick really, I feel like I'm further vindicated in this every day, but Nick really is a moderate in that regard. There are people way more extreme and just straight up angry. I don't know, man. If things don't turn around within the next 4 years, if we don't at least like turn off the you know, shut off the faucet and start reversing the flow, I don't know, man. I think we'll see an anger in this country like we've never seen in a very long time. Happy Dinesh and Vivek got their wake-up call. You see them backtracking now. Yeah, I don't care about them backtracking. I want them fucking out of here. I want both of them out of here forever. Period. You don't know, not here? Yeah, dude. American women, American, you know, women nowadays, hooked. Kumquat Latina queen will turn into a burrito in 10 years. Yeah, burrito Mussolini. 5 years max. She's turning now. My tolerance is getting less and less. Been thinking more angry lately. Yeah, we need to temper that anger. I know I just ranted about how pissed off I am, but we can't be rash. You know, allowing that anger to control you is actually it's a feminine trait. It's one thing when you're joking and you're doing a, you know, maybe when Nick is doing a show and he's crashing on his super chats, it's part of the bit. It's another thing when people take it seriously and they go out and you just don't want to be angry all the time. It's not good for you. But that doesn't change how, you know, it doesn't say that we should accept the way things are, but my point is, I don't know. On the one, I'm sort of two minds of this. On the one hand, in a sense, you kind of need people to be pissed off. If they're happy, then there's really no reason to fix something in their minds that isn't broken. So you need people to be discontent. But on the other hand, you can't have people acting like out of emotion. You can't have people. The anger can't take control of their facilities. So we need a certain, not to like gamify this, but we need a certain amount of anger to catalyze some political change, but not too much where it becomes unruly and it gets out of control. So that's why we need thought leaders. That's why Nick is one of the reasons why Nick is so important. So we're at fatigue stage right now. What's next? Yeah, hopefully political stage. We need real patriots, America firsters to get into office and reform the bureaucracy, hopefully. That's our best option. Get super rich, get into positions of power, and then, because, you know, people talk about civil war. We do not want a civil war, man. We need to avoid conflict, violent conflict, as best as we possibly can. It's just like, I don't want the country to turn into fucking Ukraine, you know? That's how, like, does anybody want to live in that? It's like people, like, that's why, like, some people talk about civil war as if, like, the conclusion is already made up in their mind. Like, you know that people shoot back, right? First of all, who's the enemy? What are the battle lines? What does civil war even look like in the Big 25? People haven't even answered those questions in their mind. It's like, dude, can you trust your neighbor, your siblings, your aunts, your uncle, your parents? Whose side is everybody going to be on? Where is the fighting going to take place? It's not. People think it's going to be somewhere else. It's going to be in DC. It's going to be in your backyard. It's going to be at, you know, at your school. It's going to be at downtown in your local supermarket. It'll be everywhere. You'll have to worry about drones, spies, double agents, triple agents. You know, car bombs going off on your way to work. Like, just even if you try to stay out of it, it's like you're in it. You're in the conflict zone. And we don't know what that looks like. So yeah, that I think is something we really want to, for obvious reasons, we really want to avoid. And so, yeah. Did you just say emotion? Fuck. Did you say Tuck? Did you see Tuck's chemtrail video? I told you they do that shit. Just look at sky every day, dawn, noon, and dusk. It's obvious. Well, I know they spray some kind of shit into the air, but I don't think it's like every single airliner that does that. It's vapor trails. It happens when it's particularly pronounced at higher altitudes. And so as airplanes have gotten better over the years, they're able to fly higher and higher. And so, but I don't think like every airline flight that you fly on is spraying chemtrails. But, you know, I mean, it's documented technology. You know, we have weather weapons, we have heavy metals. If we want to induce inclement weather, you spray heavy metals like, something like silver-based or aluminum-based into the atmosphere to cause a chilling effect and also help precipitation that are proper conditions for inclement weather. So I do think there's something to that, but I don't think it's at a massive scale. The sad part is to escape the system. You have to participate long enough to have enough money to leave it, which never happens for most people. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's hard to you know, if you don't have a lot of excess income, then, you know, it's hard to do anything. But I mean, in a certain sense, that's kind of how it's always been the case. You know, if you want to have any kind of political influence or escape the matrix, so to speak, it's always kind of been you've had to be very wealthy. And it was definitely easier 40 years ago or whatever to be like independently wealthy. But I do think that period in history it's frankly an anomaly. And it's sad that we've lost that, and we need to go try to reclaim that. But yeah, it's just like, I don't know, man. If 50-year mortgages didn't make it more clear what their plans are for most Americans, it's just, I don't know. They all want us to be slaves. Mello doesn't know what he's talking about. Throw away your sins, let the anger flow through your veins. Yeah. Everybody hop on a trend cycle real quick just to get pissed off. I'm not letting millennials off the hook as well. They are part in responsibility for this, in your opinion. Yeah, I would say, but of course to a lesser degree, because they aren't really the ones that have been in power. And the boomers, and then the Gen Xers, and then the millennials. So I think at the height of responsibility, it's the boomers, and then it's the Gen Xers, and then it's the millennials. You still have fucking boomers in office. Isn't that crazy? If people, what is it? I don't know what the percentage is. I can't remember the number. But you have literal 80-plus-year-olds in office right now. And I know like age isn't everything, okay, but like it certainly correlates with like being out of touch, the crystallization of your brain shrinks after 65. It's harder for you to take in new information. Your worldview is not going to change for the most part. So in this rapidly changing world, we have leaders that don't even understand it. And that's just part of the problem. Never mind their whole worldview, their whole mentality. Their level of entitlement. Kind of ironic, actually. Because they always call like millennials and like Gen Zers like, oh, you're so entitled to everything. It's like, and then they turn around and say, you better not take away my benefits. I paid into those, my Social Security, my whole life. It's like, we're not going to have a fucking future. We're not going to have a country. Talking about your Social Security. You're going to be dead. You're going to be dead in 10 years anyway. The fuck do you care? So selfish. Talk about selfish and entitled. Just pissed away the country in one generation. That's crazy. It seems dumb, I know, but the only hope in life I have is beautiful nature, and the land is completely tainted now. The sky is as well. Can't even enjoy Earth. No, you can still enjoy Earth. Don't black pill. I was just, a couple months ago, I was hiking through the Pacific Northwest, and it's gorgeous. Do not black pill. Do not doom. That's not helping anybody. Work on skills, spiritual, mental, and physical. He's been, fuck off Tim Pool. He's been calling CW for 10 years. Yeah. Tim Pool and his beanie. I think we're on the verge of civil war. Well, maybe he's right. Maybe this time he's right. Broken clock and all that. I think it's a distinct possibility. I wouldn't rule it out. I don't think it's maybe the most likely outcome. I certainly hope it's not. And look, not to be obtuse, but some people also make the claim like we're already kind of in a soft civil war. Fifth generational informational warfare. And that's really kind of, I think, this might, maybe this is controversial, but maybe that's the best kind of warfare. With a kind of warfare that is like purely psychological, prevent a gunshot from ever firing in the first place. But then I don't know, how do you like measure suffering? How do you measure, like, let's say a hard civil war happened 10 years ago. And let's say the good guys win or whatever, or not, I don't know. But it's the amount of destruction and suffering over the last 10 years, what's happened to Americans. How do you really, I don't know how you really measure them. I don't think you really can do any kind of comparison. Hey, what's up, Razor? It's just like, I'm just spitballing now. I'm not really going anywhere with that. Can't eventually make you have to join. Tim is crashing out over Israel. It's hilarious and cringy. Is he? Is he finally crashing out in Israel? Because he told everyone that you have Israel derangement syndrome if you see Israel everywhere. So as far as I'm like, bro, come on now. Pokemon go to the pools. Sheesh. What do you think of nepotism? This is an issue as well. It depends on who's practicing the nepotism. I think nepotism is part of the game. I think really a lot of the people that complain about nepotism complain because they're not the beneficiaries of nepotism. I think it's kind of baked into the cake. Obviously, there's some that are worse than others. And, context matters. But like, for example, let's say you have a family business and you give the business off to your son. It's a successful business. And I can think of a few examples that are worth hundreds of millions of dollars. wouldn't it be better to keep it in this sense, to practice that nepotism, to keep the family culture and tradition and maybe the character and you know, some of the values the same, and not let it sort of devolve into like lowest common denominator corporatism? It's like you could sell off the company to BlackRock and then it just, you know, becomes something completely different, and maybe what set your business apart, it loses that. So I think nepotism like that is a good thing. So it really matters on who is practicing the nepotism, for what purpose. In cases, and then like another case of negative nepotism would be all the Indian nepotism that they practice, the airtight ethnic nepotism that they practice when they hire. One Indian gets into a management position, within a few years, all like the whole team is Indian. So many cases of that. That's not good. And I don't even think that's helping the competency. That's not helping. It's blatantly not helping the competency of the team either. That's anti-meritocratic. So not everything is a meritocracy, but you know, I think there like, as I mentioned earlier in the example of like a family business, I think sometimes it's hard to quantify merit. As like, what are we talking about? Like pure business skills? Because I think there are things that you also need to take into consideration. Like, yeah, if you sell off your family-owned business to like some firm or whatever, and they put on like a person that is a business genius but turns a company into a soulless husk, is that good for society? Is that good for humanity? Not to be dramatic, you know. So I guess it depends on how you frame merit. Anyway, H1B was the first boot that fell, but that will not be understood until it's almost all over. Ahead of your time. I'm really sick of Republicans and Democrats who only want to rule, even if it means destroying America and nobody cares. They'll just make it a personal issue. Yeah, dude, I mean, look, like most of these people in politics, it's like there's a great big filter that occurs. If you, like, what you have to understand is getting involved in politics, like how do you get involved? Okay, you go to these various organizations, political organizations, you get involved in the party, you work on a campaign. But if you want to be like a politician, okay, well, you go to some of these like donor events or like a think tank. You go to like a heritage institution dinner party or something, start shaking hands, you hand out business cards, you introduce yourselves. You know, maybe you drop hints that you're interested in running or something and they get a feel for you. That's like you are in a sense in this process, you are propositioning yourself to the donor class. You're saying, okay, this is what I am, this is what I'm about. And they're sizing you up and they're saying, okay, what is this person about? How can I use this person as a vessel to push my political agenda? I'll fund their campaign and they use my platform. That's what's going through their minds. And so that's why you see like a lot of like just straight up like sociopaths get into these positions because they don't really care. They're just useful to the interest groups that are in power, or at the very least that are most willing to throw around their resources to win elections. And so, yeah, I mean, it kind of makes sense. We need real, true, diehard believers in the mission and that are not motivated by, I think, the material. Here in California, all the pizza, and I know that sounds idealistic, but that's the goal. That's the horizon. What's up, Emgo? How am I doing? I'm a little tired today. Was a little agitated, but we're hanging in there. Here in California, all the pizza places are now owned/run by Indians from India. This has happened in the last 5 years or so. It's like the same thing with motels, and they take out these loans, these low interest or zero interest rate loans from the government to prop up all of these, like to just like buy up all of these like very kind of initially niche businesses like 7-Elevens, motels. They practice nepotism. They bring over their cousin that they pretty much wouldn't pay. So they're skirting like labor laws that way by keeping it within the family or within the ethnic group. They all live like 7 to 1 apartment or whatever. So it's like you're competing with people who have like such a low standard of living that they're able to cut costs, to save immensely on labor. And much of that is because they're willing to do that because they come from a place that is like hell on earth. So any other country in the fucking world is an upgrade, even if they're on like sub minimum wage. Like, how do you compete with that as a business? And then they just keep popping up, and they take out more loans, low interest rate loans, DEI loans, stuff like that. And it's anti-competition. So, here, I just read that. No one is fit to rule. It's just less destruction. They will destroy everything if it means they will rule. I think that's silly. I think there are people that are fit to rule. I think there have been many benevolent kings and rulers throughout history. I think people, first of all, I think it's easy to simplify the difficulty of ruling. It's not an easy job, and there are always unintended consequences for everything that you do. And there's always 1,000 people taking shots at the king, trying to take your spot. And they'll repaint your legacy, they'll attack you. But even if you're trying your best, you're always going to have detractors. But personally, I believe the ruler should be someone who is separate from both parties, who governs and makes them abide by the law. I think that's kind of nonsense, to be honest. I don't think that's how it works at all. The parties are organizations. You have to be organized to win elections. You have to be organized to get into positions of power. You need money, you need resources, you need connections, like a political party. And then you build your platform based on what the interests of the most influential members of the donor of the party are, the donor class, and that dictates policy. So it's like, it's a very idealistic thing to say, we're just going to have somebody that's like totally detached from the political reality. Okay, how is that going to work exactly? I think the problem is we need political reform. We need a new donor class. We need a new elite, a new wealthy America first class, frankly, that are not beholden to foreign interests. That's really the crux of the problem. The people that have the most influence, or a better way to put it, the most organized subsection or sub-demographic in the elite ruling class, they are like this. It's the Jewish nepotism. It's like 40 or 50% of, let's just say 40% of billionaires are Jewish in America, something like that. Well, what does that say about the other 60%? Do they have the same ethnic affinity towards one another or to Israel? Do they share that same identity? So it's really a matter of who shows up, who's more organized, who is more effective at throwing around their weight. And the Jews have been masters of this, to their credit. And people are waking up to that. So we just need people, wealthy people who know what's up, who are loyal to America, who put Christ first, who aren't loyal to Israel, don't hate the majority of the population, the white people that are the majority, and the bedrock, the foundation of this country. That's what we need. People who care, people who give a shit, that don't look at your average American with disdain. Like, that's, say what you will about, like, let's say Xi Jinping. Do you think he looks at the average Chinese person, looks down on them like they're filth? Or do you think he's proud to be Chinese? And just look at the platform of the CCP. It's all China number one, China first. And yeah, I know China's not a perfect country. I'm not here to glaze the CCP, but clearly you see a difference in mentality in the leadership. Whereas here in America, it's like, it's just constant browbeating against the very essence of what this country is. You're constantly being told by foreigners that hate us, you're stupid, you're lazy, foreigners are better. And it's like, okay, well, there's the problem. So, yeah, they live inside the convenience store until their debt to their family is paid off. Yeah, they sleep behind the fucking counter. Pretty filthy. Like that it's like, how are you And it's the same thing with like when people talk about competing with China in terms of like raw GDP or like profit margins. You're competing against slave labor. You're competing against either people that live like fucking cockroaches or people that are like bugmen, like robots that have no rights, no human rights. It's like, you understand like the level we have to stoop to in order to compete at that level. That's not a game we really want to play. We'll do our own thing. We'll make America awesome the way that we did throughout the last century. You know, we don't need to give up all of the values that makes us so awesome in the first place. It's not just about the fucking numbers. It's not just about GDP or market shares, whatever, stock value. So after that poo festival, there's no way I'm going to an Indian business. Dude, everybody is anti-Indian now. They're looking at I'm seeing these clips of like these women and they're eating these like Christmas cookies and they look at the bottom of the tin, it says made in India and they're like horrified. Yeah, no thank you. No thank you. I don't want cookies made with somebody's feet. They're fungal toe infection. I don't think that makes a good flavor. Personal opinion, because both parties will naturally favor their own groups and give the other group fewer positions, even if they are actually qualified. So if the ruler is one of them, how can you make it fair? Do you think that the interest groups, that interests, like, you think it just ceases outside of political parties? It doesn't. It doesn't at all. You don't have to be a part of a political party to be like beholden to the donor class. It's just that's the most expedient way to do it. Have you been watching any of that Hassan China content? I've heard about it. I haven't been watching it. Not gonna lie, I've been a little unplugged. They shook him down after he said something about 10 men square. Just like the Samsung option. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I kind of heard about that. He's just like glazing China. I forgot exactly what he said. It's like, yeah, Hassan is one of the worst. I hope on his downfall, dude. It's like, yeah, it's just like, it's kind of nice that people realize what a piece of shit he is. I know that sounds kind of gay. He's a piece of shit. But it's like, dude, he really kind of is. GDP is so fake, Nvidia is 16% of the US economy. Yeah, AI is overvalued. 100%. I saw this clip. Actually, let's play. This is interesting. Let's open a new tab so I don't lose my place there. Oh, is she in Secession? I've never seen her in fucking anything. I know I'm getting sidetracked here, but Hey, what even is? Oh, is that her on the? No. Who's the top? Okay, so she must have played a really small role. Yeah, I literally had no idea she was an actress. I really couldn't care less. But anyway, I saw this clip of Sam Altman talking about how he's gonna. Where's the clip? Did I save it? I might have saved it. I don't know. Yeah, here. This is kind of crazy. If this doesn't tell you like this is a bubble, I don't know what will. Oh wait, this is a.
And none of this would have been possible had you guys not made these huge bets. With all that said, OpenAI's revenues are still a reported $13 billion in 2025. And Sam, on your live stream this week, you talked about this massive commitment to compute, right? 1.4 trillion over the next 4 or 5 years with, big commitments, 500 million to NVIDIA, 300 million to AMD and Oracle, 250 billion to Azure. So I think the single biggest question.
So it's like, we're committing 20 times the current revenue stream to another overvalued tech company and that's overvalued because your company is overvalued. So he just said they're committing $300 billion in revenue. That's what they're saying to a company like Nvidia, and the rest is spread out between like Oracle and other tech and investment firms. And the reason why like Nvidia is overvalued is because AI, like OpenAI, is overvalued. So we have these big valuations that's based on speculation, when in reality their current revenue stream is $13 billion a year. So how do you 100x that in 4 years? And they're banking on major contracts. Where's that money going to come from? And of course, you know, they're asking for like a $500 billion, I guess it's tied to, what is it? Technically, is it a grant? Is it a loan from the government? I'm not sure exactly what the terms of that proposal are. And so it's like, okay, so if this goes, if your company is not doing as well as you say it is, now we're going to reimburse the company on taxpayer dollars. I know the whole like privatized gains and socialized losses, but it's like, dude, this is concerning. Very concerning stuff. And I like ChatGPT a lot. But is it $1.4 trillion company? Is it? I don't know about that. Like, that is such an immense growth over 4 years. Well, let me finish the clip though.
I've heard all week and hanging over the market is how can a company with 13 billion in revenues make 1.4 trillion of spend commitments?
Basic question.
And you've heard
obvious question.
We're doing well more revenue than that. Second of all, Brad, if you want to sell your shares, I'll find you a buyer.
What a fucking dickhead response.
You know, people are. I think there's a lot of people who would love to buy OpenAI shares. I don't think you would,
including myself. Including myself.
Yeah, owning shares is not revenue. The value of your stock is not revenue.
People who talk.
And just saying that people are excited about your company because it's hyped up is not. That doesn't answer the question. How is your business going to generate $1.4 trillion of revenue when right now you're making $13 billion? But he says apparently it's well more than that. How much more? 20 billion, 50 billion, even 100 billion. How do you go from 100 billion to 1.4 trillion in 4 years? That's a very valid question. And this arrogant, flippant response, it's like, dude, this guy's running the fucking company, and he just totally prevaricated around the question. Just answer the question.
A lot of, like, breathless concern about our compute stuff or whatever that would be thrilled to.
Oh, it's breathless concern. So
I think we could sell.
It's breathless concern. How you're gonna 100x your fucking revenue stream in 4 years? That's insane.
Your shares or anybody else's to some of the people who are making the most noise on Twitter, whatever, about this very quickly. We do plan for revenue to grow.
Yeah, it's just steeply. Noise on Twitter.
Is growing steeply. We are taking a forward bet that it's going to continue to grow, and that not only will ChatGPT keep growing, but we will be able to become one of the important AI clouds, that our consumer device business will be a significant and important thing, that AI that can automate science will create huge value. So, you know, there are not many times that I want to be a public company, but one of the rare times it's appealing is when those people are writing these ridiculous OpenAI is about to go out of business and, you know, whatever. I would love to tell them they could just short the stock, and I would love to see them get burned on that.
Bro, that's not... Dude. Oh, man. Yeah, what's the answer to that? You're an idiot. Hey, how are you going to 100x your rev? I'm curious how you're going to do that. That must be really... You must have a really fascinating plan for how you're going to accomplish this incredible feat. Just sell your stock, dickhead. What? What the fuck? Oh, let me catch up here. Let me actually go in reverse here. Well, although AI is useful, it will become a weapon to threaten countries and people. If countries do not use it to protect themselves, they will become victims, and so will the people. AI is a tool like anything else. it's like it has incredible potential. It can do incredible things, but it can also be wielded in bad ways. I just learned Gavin McInnes made a pretty high budget video on peeing in public where he travels the city and demonstrates various techniques on pissing in bushes many years ago. How strange. But look, Gavin McInnes also like put a butt plug up his ass like live on air. I think he like lost a bet. So weird guy, weird, strange dude. Cartels should just go get these tech guys. With no deportations, H1B invasion, AI, I think they'll offer cheap home loans, free medical and education to straight white males to enlist in the military. Then they'll start a war. Yeah. Who knows, man? It's like whenever they go, like they advocate for a return to tradition of some sorts, you have to ask why. If nothing has really changed in terms of like real doctrine, political doctrine, or the personnel making decisions, you have to ask, why is the messaging changing? Because nothing's really changed. The same people that are in power now were in power 10 years ago. And now all of a sudden they're based and red-pilled and, hey, white guy, aren't we tired of all the woke shit? Anyway, let's go kill some of those retarded sand monkeys out in the Middle East, huh? And it's like, well, wait a second. That sounds appealing. Joking. But it's like, yeah, that's supposed to appeal to like the increasing racial grievances, but why exactly do they want these white people to sign up? What is this war for, and for whom exactly? It's because they're a bunch of terrorists. Who cares? It's like actually, if there's anything we've learned about the last 20 years of the war on terror, it's like, yeah, most veterans come home like kind of disillusioned and like fucked up. And they come home to a country that kind of hates them. And it's very different. I don't really want to die for a country the way that it is right now. I don't want to die for the regime in power. No thanks. No thank you. And for a war that doesn't benefit us. A war that's only going to benefit Israel. But whatever. Same thing with Tesla stock being overvalued. The Silicon Valley tech oligarchy are lucky America is so safe for them. In another country, they would be getting kidnapped and held for ransom all the time. Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, because, yeah, a lot of those other countries are third world shitholes. They don't have the human capital to make Silicon Valley. And they probably never will. Watch your government bail out AI companies when it hits the fan. It seems like they're already doing that. Seems like they're already positioning themselves with this $500 billion proposal. Sam Altman runs through government money like a gold digger. How much money they burn, the whole AI industry needs to be restructured. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, frankly, in a certain sense, that's kind of the only thing keeping our economy afloat. If it weren't for like the tech companies, what do we really have to offer? What? Let's just talk strictly the stock market. Without Amazon, Apple, all the AI companies, OpenAI and like Tesla, what do we have? And so the fact that those are overvalued, if you're like a capital investor, you probably have a sinking feeling in your stomach, like, at some point, somebody's looked at the books, and they looked at the stock market, how much money's like in these tech companies compared to other companies, other sectors. You're looking at America as a country. You're looking at our GDP, our exports versus our imports. And you're probably like, oh shit. So if this bubble bursts, think about all of that speculative investment, a lot of that foreign money will evaporate. What happens to the US dollar when it's no longer built on all of this? What happens to our way of life? What happens to the job market? Yeesh. That's a lot of eggs to put into one basket. For something that is like literally, man, everybody knows that AI is overvalued. Not to say that it's like a trash industry, but everybody knows this. You would be delusional to think that like that Nvidia has a higher market cap than like all of Russia. You'd be fucking delusional to think that. Like that's not tangible. It's so much of the economy is just pure speculation. And that sounds obvious. It's like people are placing bets. Will the stock go up? Will the company do better? And that's like, how about like, so when we talk about something real, something tangible, like revenue for OpenAI, and the fact that they don't have an answer, they revert back to stock prices, says they don't have a fucking answer. They're not even thinking on those terms. It's all stock valuations. It's all hype. It's all pumping up these numbers. But you need a product. You need a product. You need a good or a service. At some point, like, the dam's gonna break. And to me, it feels like it's obvious. But I guess if you're living in this day by day, you believe your own hype. You're totally immersed in it. I'm still working backwards. The reason is that Chinese make work of the measure of value, and is in the way they become like robots. I think they just are robots. That's just genetic. The ruling families of each state are investing in financial instruments instead of investing in the local economy. That is the major change, according to E.M. Burlingame. Interesting. I guess that means that money is further leaving the states and more towards the coasts. And I think that's 100% true. And again, it's speculative, but people don't feel like they have a same allegiance or tie to the soil, to the place that they are. They're not as invested in the well-being and growth of their local state, town, city, whatever, their people. They just send their money out. That says a lot about how, these centers of power are just like, they're sucking they've been sucking the resources out from the center. So whether that's on the West Coast, Silicon Valley, or on the East Coast, New York City and DC, this has been going on for a while. And you could trace this back to like, take like rural Kentucky, for example. It used to be a big, well, I don't want to go into it. Well, I don't want to get derailed here. Anyway, where was I? Bonds keep America together. The bond market is bigger than stock market. It's the backbone of this economy. Well, I just think the whole thing is overvalued, man. Boston has a large tech hub. Yeah, Boston, yeah, Harvard, MIT. I guess I like all these cities are within like commuting. Well, not commuting. I guess you can commute, but they're all within proximity of one another. They will be like rulers within all countries because of their status in the economy, which passes even some countries. Well, yeah. I mean, they're that's the whole MO. Talk about globalists. They are a nationless people. Yeah, been trending in this direction for quite some time. Who did it better, Monica Lewinsky or Donald Trump? I don't know, have you seen Monica Lewinsky? I mean, I think it's a safe bet that the women that Trump got with were at least hot. I guess Trump. At least Trump. I guess he was the better sexual deviant. Do you think Mamdani is going to clear New York City, like you said? What do you mean clear? I'm missing the what you mean by that. I don't know if there's some context. Of course, I will not die for another country. I have no interest or benefits, either humanitarian or personal. Yeah. I will not. Raise your right hand and say, I will not die for Israel. This guy looks like... Alright, kumquat. He would need 2 to... Is that 4 billion paid users? Is that real? Trump was giving Bill Clinton head. Yeah, wasn't that the leak? Wasn't that the leak? Because is that real? Is that real or fake? I heard about that. I haven't seen the document. Dude, clavicular's been blowing up. Dude, I think he's Icarus flying too close to the sun, to be honest, man.
Yo, what up? How you guys? Yo, what up? Holy crash outs. Holy reaction. What was that? Why are you guys freaking out? Huh? What is that? Two man? You guys down for a 2-man?
We'll take you guys on.
Wait, so
For each of us.
wait, what happens if he gets to crack all you and I get to watch? We're twinning? What do you mean?
No, you're joining. You're yeah.
What is this, brain rot? Oh, do you think rich people will leave New York City? No. Fuck no. Not in any meaningful capacity. If you're like, I think the people leaving are already going to leave, but they're just, no. There's too much money. I think New York will just, like, it was already shitty to begin with. I think it'll just get shittier. I don't think we'll see a meaningful shift, really. I think a lot of that's just talk. Kingdom of Jerusalem, maybe. Yeah, I mean, maybe, look, Kingdom of Jerusalem, God wills it, Papal State, yeah, the Pope came out and declared a crusade. Yeah, that's all, contingent. Like, if the Papal State declared war on Israel, I guess I'd have no choice but to sign up. But, no, but, like, yeah, just, don't forget, we are the church. Jerusalem is just a place at the end of the day. Was Epstein's brother emailing Putin asking if he had pics of it? Honestly, I'm not up to date on that. It seems like they're parsing through all of those documents, and so like new bits are dropping here and there. But so I couldn't give you an answer on that. What is this, brain rot? These are the degens of society. So a quick rundown. This is Clavicular. He's like 19 years old. He's blowing up on TikTok and Kick right now. He's becoming a big streamer, streaming with people like Aiden Ross. He did a collab with Nick. And his whole thing is like Chad looks maxing, but to I think a Faustian degree. When you talk about looks maxing, most people talk about like, diet and exercise, mewing, skincare routines to like, be as attractive as possible and whatnot. He takes it a step further to like say like he's going to like Turkey to have like titanium plates surgically implanted in his skull to change his bone structure, double jaw surgery to have a more Chad jaw. He's taking meth to hollow out his cheeks and to be more like alert. That's kind of Aryan, but he has a bunch of other drugs, finasteride, I think, and minoxidil for his hair, like 2 common hair drugs. A bunch of other things, and he's doing like leg lengthening surgery, and it's like, this is too far. This is too far. I think it's one thing to mew, it's one thing to exercise, eat right, but like when you're going under the knife, how does that really make you any different from like a woman that's gonna do a bunch of cosmetic surgery? It's fake. It's not real. your kids are going to come out looking like thumbs because they're not going to look like the way you've altered your body. You might get extending surgery so you can be 6'5". Like, think about, and I don't know if that's, it sounds like he's, you know, he means it when he says he's going to go to Turkey to do these things. I don't know if that's just a bit at the end of the day or whatever. It could all just be one big bit, but it seems like he's being honest about it. I'm like, dude, double jaw surgery, you have a very high likelihood of fucking up the nerve in your jaw and you'll feel nothing in your jaw ever again. There's a high likelihood of that when you break your jaw. Limb lengthening surgery, there's a good chance you could fucking cripple yourself forever. And no matter how much you say, like, yeah, and like, obviously taking meth, probably not a good idea. And no matter how much you say, well, yeah, if you're retarded about it, like, it's always, you know, people always think that like they're gonna do it better, they're gonna be smart with it, they're gonna be more tempered in how they deal with this with all of this stuff. Really, don't you think like most people who fucked with that shit at some point in time have had the same thought? I'm only just gonna do a little. Nah, it's just a quick surgery here or there. Where does it end? Where does it end? Where is the satisfaction? Where's the acceptance? You know, at some point you just have to say, I am what I am. I am the way that I am. You know, maybe you're 5'5", maybe you're 5'2", and it is what it is. And you can be angry about it, but it's like at some point you kind of have to accept things that are within nature, the way that things are. That's part of life. There are limitations. So on the one hand, I kind of admire the like Faustian spirit to push the limit. How far can we look, Max? How attractive can one person make themselves just through, you know, this process? But on the other hand, it's like, when do you make that Faustian bargain? When do you sell out your humanity? You know, when do you just become a nothing? When do you know, where's the substance? Where's the character? Where's the humility? It's all just so vain. Everything is vain. And I understand a lot of reality is like that. A lot of the world is vain. And if you're more attractive, if you're taller, like, yeah, you're going to have a way easier time. But I think you're supposed to actually have shortcomings and weaknesses. You know, maybe you're 6'5" Chad or whatever, but you have no personality or you have no humility. Maybe you're a 5'7" short king, but you're the funniest guy in the fucking room and you can riz up anybody. You know, it's like you are like you're building your character in like an RPG, and you only have so many skill points to put in, and that's life. You know, like how many people and people who have like max stats and everything also tend to be kind of dysfunctional. Like some of the people that are like 10 on the intelligence scale are like fucking total autists and can't get along with anyone. Then other people who are like 10 on the charisma scale are like total shallow narcissists. Or totally, you know, lacking in humility and end up destroying themselves or their relationships or whatever. So I think the crux of all of this is humility. You have to have humility in everything. And so I see this and it's like, look, yeah, you got to look good. You got to take effort in your appearance, but like, there's a limit to this shit. Anyway, I don't think that's a hot take, but these Indian society, well, the reason there are so many Indians in tech companies is, first of all, because they reproduce at an alarming rate, and also because their salaries are lower than those Americans. The company has no values or principles or hire Americans that serves the same purpose. Yeah, we all know why. Everybody in chat, me, we all know why there's so many Indians in tech. This guy takes off his shirt and flexes to underage women. I don't know if they're underage, but I don't know. I don't think it's that serious. This guy's going to pass away young. A lot of these women who get stuff done when they get old, it's going to look like fireworks in the face. The generation is going to look crazy. Yeah, dude, it's like, look, and it's like most surgeries, I think you can kind of tell. I just, yeah, I like authentic. That's what I like, man. I like authentic. I don't like the idea that you're gonna mask or alter your physiognomy either. You are literally wearing a mask. But just be yourself. The eyes often betray people's facial expressions. If you think clavicular is too far, his friend androgenic doesn't even look real anymore. Yeah, dude, it's like, I just think that shit's gross, man. I think it's fucking nasty. I don't understand necessary surgeries. Why would someone want to change their appearance for no reason? Well, the reason is they want to look better. Like, that's the reason. They want to look more attractive by any means necessary. And I think going under the knife like that is not good. I think that's the wrong idea. Some people do it because they want to, you know, skip steps in the process. Like, they don't want to eat right. They get liposuction or whatever. Some people are just railing against reality, trying to turn back the clock or just change their bone structure that they were gifted with. And it's like, dude, that's your body, man. You've got one body. People like him have a different mindset in life. They want to maximize their current state. Steroids bad for my body long term, no problem, as long as I'm more attractive right now. I think there's a level of cope. It's like, if I, like, and unironically, it's something like, if I do this right, most people fuck it up and screw themselves, like, over the long term because they're retarded. But I'm not retarded, so I'm going to get it right. Unironically. Like, dude, okay. Well, even then, like, what does it say that so many people fuck this up? How easy do you think it would be to fuck up? I think it's pretty easy. So much so that, like, okay, so you think you can, because you can read a white paper, it's still a good idea? Or because you plugged it in the chat GPT or whatever? Or because you get blood work done? And look, I'm doing okay. Like, okay. I don't know. I think you are playing with fire. And maybe it works out for him in the long run. Maybe he doesn't die young. Maybe he doesn't have crazy health complications, but he's taking like this cocktail of drugs. And not to mention the social media and all that. Like, what is that doing to his mind? Could it create some kind of psychosis in the future? Who knows? But like I said, part of me respects it in the sense it's Faustian. We're pushing the limits. We're seeing what we're capable of. But I think there are constraints to that, or that should be adhered to. My family on my mother's side are descendants of Alsace-Lorraine. Godfrey of Bouillon was our duke proper of the first king of Jerusalem in 1099. Really? Yeah, Godfrey of Bouillon. I think I'm saying that right. Yeah, first king of Jerusalem. Dude, the First Crusade was crazy. Absolutely. It's literally, I would classify it as a miracle that campaign was successful. You read about the shit that they had to go through. Nuts. Absolutely nuts. I have no problem with an individual having that outlook, but if society adopts it as an expectation, it's bad for everyone. Yeah. Look, in general, I'm not a fan of mimicry. A lot of people don't really understand. And like somebody like Clab definitely has an impressionable audience who are probably going to go out and like try shit like that and say the exact same thing. Well, if you're not retarded with it, and they're going to end up fucked up. Is that really what we want? I don't know, man. And look, I'll say this, like maybe if we had like all the proper like avenues to make this like an accessible thing, like you go in with your like a monthly checkup with your doctor or whatever, I don't know, and he checks your like drug stack, your testosterone levels, and like somebody is like that careful with your character sheet, with your stats, You know, making sure you're not stacking up all these debuffs. Then maybe we can talk about that. But most people are like not that sophisticated, not doing their due diligence, probably not even getting like good stuff. They're probably going to get contaminated shit. And that's a recipe for disaster. So, attention economies need to go away. I think they will, though. I've seen that there's no rap songs in top 40. People are tired. Yeah, maybe. I think the attention economy is here to stay. One of my bosses is from Alsace-Lorraine. He was has a German-sounding surname. Damn. All I heard was a totally non-chat virgin crying for 10 minutes. Repeat that opinion back to you when you have 4 girls down bad for you. When is your double jaw surgery, Kumquat? When are you getting your double jaw surgery? When are you getting your limb? You probably need the limb extension surgery because you're like 5'6". Yeah, little news. Like Kumquat is like 5'6". He's a little manlet. So of course, you know he's looking at his flight to Turkey and he's like, damn it. Never, because I already have a perfect Aryan jaw. Oh yeah, is that so? I can't see you. I can't see you from up here. Alsace is half German, half French, with many Belgian roots as well. Belgium is to France what Austria is to Germany. Low-key looks maxing overlaps with homosexuality. I wouldn't be surprised. We have an identity crisis. Yeah, look, man, someday you will get old, you will get uglier, and you will die. That is how the world is. So, dread it, run from it, it arrives all the same. What is the definition of being better cosmetically while performing surgery based on standards you saw on TikTok? Not sure what exactly what you mean by that. Many bodybuilders pass young. This is not going to end well. Yeah, they're probably taking more shit than he is. But I really doubt it's gonna end well. He's 19 now. His body is still young. But I have my doubts that this is gonna end well. I think he'll amass a certain like health debt that will eventually have to cash. Seems like false advertising. If you get married, your wife is going to have false expectations about her kids' looks. Yeah, so like kids are just going to come out ugly. And they're going to be short and ugly. Then what? And then they're going to get their cosmetic surgeries and it won't matter anymore. It's like, what kind of fucking world are we building? So everyone's just going to look like plastic. Everyone's going to be plastic. And it's just going to be like a casual thing. And the way that you wear nice clothes, everyone's just gonna get limb extension surgery and double jaw. Maybe I'm just a product of like a different time. Maybe the world is just leaving me behind. And maybe this will just be the standard in 20 years or whenever. But I don't like that. I don't like moving in that direction. I actually don't think we need to do that. So it's all very like transhuman. Did anyone watch Asmiold's video on Were the Crusades Justified? He's only like 10 years late on that. I remember watching the video he was reacting to. But he's coming around. Yeah, blonde hair and blue eyes, 6'9". You wish you were 6'9". 6'7". I mean, they know beauty and perfection based on opinions that aren't even realistic. They'll never reach the perfection they aspire to. That's why I find this type of surgery dumb and useless. It's form over function, I suppose. And in a certain sense, they're kind of vindicated. Look at how many people are doing it. Look at how many people are buying into this. It feels like it's becoming more popular, not less popular. But maybe that correlates with like the kind of the moral decay. I don't know. All I can say is it gives me the fucking ick. Don't like. Yucky. Everyone will be plastic until we can do robot implants like Cyberpunk. Yeah, imagine. Imagine you just eat all the fucking Five Guys you want and still be a chiseled Chad. People would be pieces of shit, man. Can you imagine? Again, I think there's part of life you have to suffer. There have to be consequences to things, your actions, your decisions, personal accountability, and all that. And when you don't have that, it's like, look at the kind of people and subsequently the kind of society it produces. It's almost like I think things would like kind of collapse before they even get to that point. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe AI will just keep us all going and we'll all be put in pods. Who knows? Once Pope Leo approves Clanker waifu, we won't have to worry about looks maxing. Yeah, dude, who fucking cares? Who fucking cares when you're in your VR headset? You're fucking your big titty AI robot Clanker wife with their double G fucking bazungas in your own like artificial world. You're in Skyrim right now. You're in Skyrim. You're in Skyrim all the time. You're fucking big titty Argonian. Who cares, man? Who cares? The outside world doesn't exist. You're in your pod. You're living your best life. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Those damn Argonians. It's a hypothetical, Kumquat. Hypothetical. No, we hate Argonians. And those filthy Khajiit. You want a Habsburg jaw? I don't even know what that is. Why is there no creativity nowadays? I think there is creativity, honestly. Something is kind of creative about it. Maybe it's not the best flavor of creativity, but it's out there. I think there's a lot more slop that, you know, kind of floods the airwaves, but toaster by day, clanker waifu by night. Toaster? What do you mean toaster? You putting your dick in a toaster? I would advise against fucking a toaster. You know, I'm not an expert, but seeing what it does to bread, I don't want to think about what it does to your meat. That's why it's illegal, even though they list risks such as failure and defamation. Wait, what are we talking about? What's illegal? Oh, still legal, sorry. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know, man. I don't know. There are a lot of problems. There are a lot of problems, and the cosmetic surgery and stuff, that's part of it. But not to be obtuse, but let's sort of examine this deeply. I think much of the reason why society or people right now feel compelled to these kinds of things is because they're vain, they're lacking in humility. I think they're kind of morally bankrupt. And I think there's a lot of that. People ultimately don't care about the means, they care about the end result. Even if the end result is fake. They don't care about the process, they don't care about the character that suffering through that process builds. They want the cheap and easy fix or solution. They want, you gotta drop 100 pounds, are you gonna put in the work and eat right? Or are you gonna take a pill or do liposuction? And so it's like, there are these options being sold to people, these cheap and easy and effective solutions to the problems that they have, and a lot of people don't care. That many of those problems they did to themselves, but they don't care that it's not real. They don't really see the correlation between like your character and like how you live your life. And what that means, what that does for you. Sometimes it does feel like a lot of people are, you know, you talk about NPCs, it feels like a lot of people just like don't have souls. I know that's like not, you know, but it feels that way. It really feels like that way sometimes. Unaware of the Habsburg man. Look. Witness Charles II of Spain. Alright, fine, I'll bite. What is that? Oh, yeah, right. Okay. I've seen this before. Yeah. Okay, yeah. I've heard of this before. We haven't even touched on the fact that some murderers change their appearance in order to escape the police and prosecution. One of his better picks. Sheesh. Imagine, dude. Imagine, like, your jaw's so fucked up you have to, like, drink water bottles upside down. Imagine, you're like, jaw, you gotta drink water like that. That's crazy. How would you, if you're going somewhere, how do you see? Imagine, like, I call, what's up, guys? I got my Mexican Coke here. Like, that's crazy, man. That's debilitating. Oh, he was inbred? As if you didn't have enough reasons not to inbreed. Anyway. Anything else going on? Yeah, this is what I saw. In a leaked email, the brother of Jeffrey Epstein, Mark Epstein, asks if Vladimir Putin has the photos of Trump blowing Bubba. Bill Clinton has been known as Bubba. You and your boy Donnie can make a remake of the movie Get Hard. And I thought I had serious. Ask him if Putin has the photos of Trump blowing Bubba? Question mark. All good banding with me. How are you doing? A while back you mentioned that you were pre-diabetic. Has anything changed with that? What is your boy Donald up to now? Oh, what the? That's kind of keg. I don't really know what to make of that. His nose dips over his lips. Bro, imagine. You can smell if you have bad breath. Every time you blow upward into your nose. I guess you'd never have to worry about, like, your nose getting cold in the winter. My instructor at school has a Star David tattoo, and I came in on my day off wearing my AF hat, and he asked me is that one of those Nick Fuentes hat? Like a quick time event. Brother, hide your power level, man. Hide your fucking power level. Don't get fucking kicked out of school because you're fucking Jewish instructor. Brother. Do not get yourself into trouble. Keep the hat at home. That is for, like, gotta be careful. If you know somebody has leverage on you, then they're not gonna like your political opinions. Don't express those political opinions in front of them, at least. So be careful. Do not wear AF merch in public. Wears in public. OMG, quick time event. Yeah, bro. Oh, shit. Got a little motion. Yeah, do not wear merch in public. You gotta be careful, man. We're not out of the woods yet. Don't make your life harder than it has to be. He said he thinks it's funny, so you're good? Maybe he's one of the cool ones. Maybe he's like Aiden Ross. You know? But still, I wouldn't take that risk. You never know. Maybe he's cool with it, but maybe some other staff member saw that, you never know. And it sucks that it's that way. It sucks, but look, I remember being in college when Trump won, and I'm like, dude, I don't really want to have to deal with the fucking headache of living in a hostile campus where everybody is going to look at me like I'm some kind of like sociopath or freak or whatever. It's just like, you're there on a mission. You're there for a purpose. You know? You're undercover. Just tell him your GF bought you that hat. Okay, well, you don't have to cuck. Oh, my GF bought me the hat. You know. And my dog ate my homework, too. Did you see these two rabbis who like Nick but think Candace is crazy and Tucker is fake? No, I didn't. I didn't see that. Anyway, I don't know if this is real or not, what we're looking at here. And to play devil's advocate, is there any other connotation blowing could be? Is this coded language? Is this a joke, an inside joke? Was he just posing with Clinton and not actually literally sucking his wiener? I don't know. You should wear a MAGA hat all the time and drive a Cybertruck. Yeah. Candace is on a major run right now. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Dude, I do not like Candace, man, I'll be honest. I just kind of have a low tolerance for just being fucking wrong. And, like, not being honest. I don't like her dishonesty. I don't like her track record. I don't think she's credible. And I don't like how she just skirts accountability all the time. When she's wrong on things and she gets called out for being wrong, it's like, well, actually, this proves me right somehow. Like with the whole UTC debacle. And that's before we get into, like, how ignorant she really is. I mean, she just doesn't know anything. I don't take her seriously. And people watch her show because they think her theories are funny, and I think that's like, those people are retarded. It's just lowest common denominator slop. Like, this is the problem with, like, and don't get me wrong, like, yeah, you can make politics entertaining and whatnot, but, like, it should be true. It should be that should be the focus. That should be the crux of your whole show, is that you try to find and represent the truth. I don't know, it's whatever, though. Yeah, you guys are all bots too, right? Candace viewers all bots? Candace number 1, what happened with Mr. Bridget Macron? I don't know, they're going to court, right? So, we'll see what comes out of that. I just don't fucking care that much. Like, is that crazy? Last time I checked, we're Americans, not French. It's just, okay, yeah, there are degenerates in France. Are the Macrons degenerates? Yeah, probably. But we have degenerates here in America. They're all over the fucking place. Talk about J.D. Vance. Talk about Trump. Talk about these Epstein files. I don't like how the way that she's like kind of AF, I don't want to say tangent, but similar, both critical of Israel. When you have a very loud megaphone, very prominent platform, and you tank your credibility, it calls into question all of your views. And not just your position on your views, how you represent them, but the position itself. So her position is the Israel critical position. And what are people gonna criticize? They're not gonna criticize Candace herself. They're gonna criticize the Israel critical position. They're gonna say, really? This woman is a spokesperson for the people critical of Israel? Damn, they really are low IQ anti-Semites. And that's very frustrating. It's very frustrating when You know, you're actually trying to make a case and change hearts and minds, and you are actually trying to pursue the truth. And yeah, because you have to. It's not enough to like be earnest. You have to be competent. And I maybe she's earnest, but I don't see the competency. So I only like her because she pisses other people off. It'll be like watching the bad toddler at a party go apeshit and people who don't know how to deal with kids. Do you also like the loud black woman that like that like, you know, gets her snapbacks and all that? Is that also entertaining? I don't take anyone conservative seriously. Officer Tatum isn't a cop anymore. You use Ossifer. What about Brandon? I don't even pay attention to him. We got low IQ anti-Semites. We got high IQ anti-Semites. Yeah, that is true. And that look, that comes with the territory. As these ideas become more popular, like you kind of have either extreme at first. You know, you're gonna have the people, high IQ people who notice patterns, you know, despite the censorship and the pressure to ignore them. And you're gonna have the low IQ people who can really only notice basic patterns, but are also kind of dysfunctional. And now we're sort of filling in the middle. We're getting a lot of the normies. We're getting a lot of the like average IQ people. And there's obviously more to it than that, but it is like a lot of the people who were involved in this sort of movement, so to speak, especially earlier on, were just like dysfunctional, maladjusted people. And that's just true. But there were a lot of them. Many of them got pruned out over time because, like, you know, people like Ethan Ralph, for example, because they are just unpalatable. George Webb just pitched a movie based on Candace and Ian Carroll investigating Charlie Kirk's death. That's crazy. What? I wonder how that's going to turn out. Who's that guy on Fox? He's a black Mormon conservative. That's wild. I don't even remember, man. There's... As an old head, it was 90% of it. Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of it. But I will say, dude, like... Bro, the super chats. It's like, I don't know, man. They've gotten so bad on Nick's show. I don't know. It's crazy. Pre-Nick was fucking terrible. Damn. Yeah. I really, that was really kind of before my time. But like you see like some of the goobers that were popular. I mean, just think like, dude, I don't know. I don't want to rail on to like these people are irrelevant anyway. The fuck is this? This is the YMCA. Yeah, let's just have a bunch of homosexuals singing about having gay sex. That's great. That's conservatism. You can stay there and find many ways to have a good time, like, bro. Okay. Do you think Ben Shapiro and Mark Levin have ruined their credibility? Yes. I think it's over for them. I think it's absolutely over for them. And look, they don't get that. It's crazy. Like Ben Shapiro, what did he say the other day? He came out in favor of H1Bs. Like, okay. Came out in favor of H1Bs saying if you can't afford to live in New York City, then you gotta go elsewhere. Oh, that's great. Do I even have to address that? Do I even have to say anything about that? You can't afford to live here where your family's lived for generations? That's your problem. You shouldn't live there. Nobody owes you anything. It's like, well, how do we not extend that same logic to Israel? If Israel can't defend themselves, they can't afford to defend themselves, they can't afford to live in the Middle East, and maybe they shouldn't be there. Obvious double standard. Maybe that's trite by now, but it's like, dude, it's so obvious. It's so fucking in your face. It's insulting. The biggest dude back then was Richard Spencer, and he did a podcast with trailer trash Nazis. It should have always been about Richard Spencer. I'm just so tired of these ugly, dysgenic freaks. Richard Spencer's vindicated, man. Ben Shapiro says everybody should work until they're 85 years old. Yeah, we've got, you know, we could quote Ben Shapiro all fucking day, man. What a gremlin. Shapiro's next take: if you can't afford to live here, then leave the country. Yeah. You know, every second that goes by, it's just like Matt Walsh is just more and more pathetic. Matt Walsh and Michael Knowles, and Matt Fradd is frankly just for signing on to that. Fuck that guy. Fuck that guy. It's one thing if like you've already, and it's not good, but it's one thing if you've been there for years, maybe you've built something. I mean, you know these people personally, and it's been your livelihood. I get that to a degree, but to see the sinking ship, you're getting offered a bag. Everyone's pointing out all of the problems with the Daily Wire, and to sign up for that, go fuck yourself, dude. Disgusting. And to sit there and not say a fucking word while they mock Catholicism, they mock the Pope, they'll mock Jesus. That's disgusting to me. I fucking spit on those people. Ugh. He paid for 70% of Israel's wars so far, at least. Can you imagine a roofer working until he's 85 years old? Ben Shapiro at 30, gonna work the roofer one day. Yeah. Well, they're not exactly known for their manual labor. Do you remember Stefan Molyneux? Never really a big fan of his work, but yeah, I know of him. This is crazy, though. I don't even... This is crazy. Who did it better? Who did it better? Monica Lewinsky or Donald Trump? Who did it better? I never thought in the Big 25 I'd be making that kind of comparison, but sheesh, here we are. If Pre-Nick was a circus, I believe it. Also, I mean, look, the internet was different back then too. You could get away with so much more back in like 2016, 2015. And then the censorship after Trump won, and then even harder during COVID. Then even harder with the election stuff. Yeah. What did you already say, Riley? Oh, is that what you said earlier? I don't know. I'm actually curious now. Oh yeah, you did say it. I guess yeah, because I didn't understand the reference. Who did it better? I stole. You stole it too. I guess everyone's stealing it. I guess it's just cliche. I guess it's just the obvious joke. Did see Bannon glazing Nick on AF Post? He said Nick came well prepared to. Yeah, I saw that. I didn't watch the clip, but I saw that. Of course, we know he probably just woke up. He woke up and was probably late. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm sure he prepared for it. He said he prepared for it. So, I don't doubt that. Nick does prepare. Does take notes. But he knows his stuff. My YouTube account was suspended for my comments a lot of times over the years. Not videos, just comments somebody didn't like. Yeah, I believe it.
Mr. Israel first.
Always America.
Can we get a screw Israel?
Screw Israel.
Can we get a fuck Israel?
fuck Israel.
Okay, this guy's a boss. You know, we don't even need one, but any word on Palestine, anything. Can we throw us a crumb? Throw us a bone, bro. Wish us luck.
I think
or
it's
something.
wrong. Trump's pushing him out.
Thank you, bro. He's not pushing. He's not pushing us nowhere. Don't worry. But thank you for the.
What was this? Okay, like this is the wrong mentality. This is the wrong mentality. Not a pussy bit. Dude, is this guy in some kind of position? We haven't won yet. We haven't won yet. Nothing has changed just yet. Yeah, the public opinion is changing. Like, ostensibly, it's a good thing that, you know, more people are waking up and America first and all that. Gotta ask, is the juice worth the squeeze? Okay, so Myron and Candace are... I wonder if Myron is gonna press her on the Nick interview. W. Wang F. Holy shit, the guy got a video of smelly balls on his way to school. Yeah, I would just you gotta be really careful, man. Infiltrate. She went from a 7.5 to a 4. Dude, you can't really hate on Pearl. She's like master rage baiter. Anyway, I didn't even want to really talk about the news and politics today, to be honest. But here we are, 2 hours in. That's like all we've talked about. Before I went live, dude, I'm sitting here like, man, I kind of just want to play a video game. I was just not feeling it. Ben Shapiro and Mark Levin have went 100% behind on full-on cancel culture now. It's amazing that they're claiming that they're real America First people. Corporate mission accomplished. Mello, we haven't won yet. Yeah, we gotta lock in, guys. Like, this is all good, but we are one false flag, one catastrophe away from mass censorship, mass psychosis. Who knows? You know, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's not jump the gun. I love the enthusiasm. I love the energy. Don't get me wrong. But be careful, especially in this day and age. Like, some person could attack you, right? Some deranged leftist could attack you. And you might say, well, you'll be a martyr for the cause. It's like, do you really want to die for something that I think everybody kind of already knows? Like, how many more, for example, like how many more instances of like a white person getting like beat up or killed by like a career black criminal do we need before, like, you don't want to actually end up as a statistic that doesn't actually, you being dead when you're based, that's not actually really going to help things. It's one fewer based and red-pilled. It's one less based and red-pilled person on the planet. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think anyone should put themselves in harm's way like that. I know. I'm the party pooper. No fun. We need to put that label properly. Lungs. She even rage baits us by being a much shark. Yeah. She literally just rage baits everybody. She rage baits the like ugly feminist libtards, and she rage baits the right wing. It's just, like, honestly, I respect the game. I really believe the Democrats are going to win in a landslide now. I think certainly in the midterms, yeah. Dude, it's like, so, and frankly, some of the more politically savvy representatives are picking up on the Israel issue. And even people that were already kind of like on the perimeter of it, like MTG, I have to give credit where credit's due. I mean, she's really come out strong and she's refused to disavow Nick. Richard Spencer had a post about it today. Even he's in agreement. I thought was funny. Maybe it was yesterday. Yeah. There's clearly been a change in Marjorie Taylor Greene. I refused to accept this for a while. I was so used to loathing her as a conspiracy theorist and magatard. Perhaps someone new is advising her, or perhaps she's gone through a genuine maturation and transformation. I've heard the theory that Trump nixed her Senate aspirations, and that is why she's actively distancing herself from him. But that seems an incomplete explanation. She's become deeper and someone you can take seriously. It shocks me to say this, but it's true. I guess everyone deserves a second chance. I was surprised to hear Richard say this. Maybe it's that deep, maybe it isn't that deep, but it's still a good development that she's taking a harder stance on all this. So, Rip Dasha, yeah, Rip Dasha. Skip the hiding of the power level part. Yeah, gotta be careful, man. You never know. You never know. Play your cards close to your chest. Yeah, there was one Dem that said he doesn't take AIPAC money. Yeah, but again, it's not just about AIPAC. Remember that. It's not just about AIPAC. It's not just about Zionism or even Israel. Just remember that. Yeah, false flag can happen any day now, which will be used to strip more rights from Americans. Yeah, I would not rule it out. I hope it doesn't. But, you know, they're panicking. They don't really know how to deal with this problem of this great awakening. They don't really know. So, kind of scary because they need their war. They're up against the clock. It's the rabbit with the clock meme. You know, they need their war with Iran. They need regime change, and they need to get Americans on board somehow because they're not going to have the same political power. The willpower to do so will just not exist very soon. So, all right, wait, we never finished this clip.
Thomas Crooks is dead, of course. There was no trial against Thomas Crooks. And by the way, they weren't misspeaking. This wasn't an accident. We know that because the director of the FBI said the same thing once again under oath in front of Congress in September.
When your predecessor sat right there in that seat a couple years ago, last year in a committee hearing, I asked him a very detailed question about Matthew Thomas Crooks, the shooter responsible for the assassination attempt on President Trump's life. I did get an answer from Chris Wray that day, and I submitted written questions to the FBI and into the record of this committee, and I want to resubmit those questions today because I think we are still awaiting answers to those questions. So, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to submit them for the record, please. I'd like to ask you, sir, and the FBI, under your leadership, would you please respond to these questions, and can you commit to doing that?
As soon as the trial's over.
But if it's true that there's nothing here, then the FBI has a very strange way of showing it. In July of 2024, a bipartisan group of senators, led by Republican Senator Ron Johnson of Wisconsin, sent a letter, quote, requesting records related to the July 13th, 2024 assassination attempt. Fully a year later, the FBI still had not responded. What is this about? This summer, Senator Johnson issued a new subpoena, noting that, quote, nearly a year after the assassination attempt and the initiation of the subcommittee's investigation, the FBI has repeatedly failed to produce the subcommittee records and information critical to its investigation. In the subpoena, they demanded pictures and images related to the assassination, video footage, forensic reports, records related to FBI interviews, and notably, all records referring or relating to any of Thomas Crooks's electronic devices, digital or financial accounts, or online search history.
What are you telling us?
I am totally unsatisfied. I am totally unsatisfied. You had a person with a modern rifle, modern scoped rifle at 130 yards who shot at the former commander-in-chief of the United States and a guy who was going to be, by all accounts at that point, the future commander-in-chief. And then they tried to kill my father 8 weeks later, you know, at his golf course in Palm Beach County, a golf course that I run every single day. I am totally unsatisfied that we have one picture of that shooter. The guy looks like he was 14 years old in the picture. We know nothing about him. We know nothing about him. Right? And I am totally unsatisfied with the result, and I think a lot of America is unsatisfied with the result, and I think we better get to the bottom of exactly what happened.
Are you telling me there's a conspiracy here that you believe that Eric Trump believes resulted in the assassination attempt?
Yes, I think they tried to kill my father because they did not want his voice on that stage.
Unfortunately, the reality...
I mean, dude. Who's in power? Again. Didn't our guys win? Isn't that something that you can just do things now? Yeah, the fifth column is in control. Yeah.
As you guys might have already heard, I am being sued for $5 million by Alexis Wilkins, the sensational country music star who's dating current FBI.
Do we care about this? Do we care about? What do you guys want? How about this? I've been yapping for 2.5 hours now. What do you guys want to talk about? What do you guys want to talk about? Never had high hopes for Cambani, but Cash and Bongino have really let us down.
Investigation into what happened.
Well, I never had high hopes for either of them either. I don't care about Elijah, neither do I. I think... I know he's like friends with Nick and everything, but I think he's kind of dumb. And he also said he never watched like an episode of Nick's show. What the fuck was that about? And ever since I watched him on Timcast, and like he didn't really do a good job, I think, defending Nick or the movement. He really kind of rode the fence. I'm like, dude, come on now. So I'm not really the biggest fan. About the pipe bomber on January 5th? Yeah, I mean, what, it was a lesbian fed or something? Not surprising. What the fuck is going on here? Oh, did you guys hear about... This is stupid. Did you guys hear about the drama between Myron and Akash? I guess we could talk about dumb hoes. What's going on here? What's going on here?
Get this little... It's a ring light! Dr. Trevor, what are we doing?
So, Justine sustained a bruise through some physical activity at home. And we treat a lot of bruises here. Bruises for many different reasons. And so we matched the laser called the baby and the
Also, I heard you're single. Is that true?
Alright, we're gonna go back to treating. Typically, we get these types of bruises on the neck.
Wait,
we
why?
call it something else on the neck, and it's surprisingly we get a lot of patients who come in.
Dude. Okay, context. Myron Gaines, we all know who Myron is. But Akash, this, I guess he's Indian. But this comedian was like calling him out for being like a misogynist, typical shit. Well, he made the claim that like his wife was a virgin. And like, that is like so far from likely. Like, Myron's just been blasting him with clips of Akash's wife just being like a hoe. Talking about like flirting with other other men and shit. Talking about how she went to Norgy, talking about how she got run through in college by the frat. She had a roster of guys in college. The white frat, just like typical like retarded poor behavior. People like Akash need to be humiliated. Absolutely shamed. Absolutely fucking shamed. It's never forget the simps are enabling women like this. Need to be routinely humiliated and shunned. Nick has a lot of dumb friends and super chatters. Yeah, he really, like, look, it is what it is. You get mad if I call you a Goomba? Huh? How does someone end up marrying a woman like this? Because they're simps, man. Total fucking simps. And you know, of course she says the line like, the money I make is mine, but the money he makes is ours. You know, just typical shit like that. It's like painful, dude. But isn't Akash, or Kash, whatever, a human embarrassment already? Look at him. Yeah, but this is even worse, man. That's why it's like, dude, if you, like, literally, if you have somebody in your friend group that has this kind of behavior, you need to bully them. You need to bully them. It is your job to bully people. If somebody you know who behaves like this, let them know that they are not respected by their peers. When they pedestalize and enable, like, pedestalize women and enable this kind of behavior. Like, dude. Some of these motherfuckers like to be shamed. Yeah, but it just needs to be, like, 10 steps further. This is crazy, bro.
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
What I find corny is
is my preference is not my women. Now, I thought it was I'm not dating my women, period, which is the corniest human being outside of a criminal to me, period.
Akash only dates brown. Akash has been with one girl in his life who is his wife.
That's my wife. That's an
so
Indian
this
woman that
is
was
like
important to
loyal
me.
through and through.
Sometimes I get so painfully nostalgic for college. I was popping my pussy and living my best life in these white boy frat houses.
I'm actively trying to have an orgy because, and you haven't seen Nav yet, but wait till you fucking see him. His body goes crazy. His face card always slays, never declines. And it's kind of weird because I'm talking about your husband. I just know that Nav's dick is like at least 10 inches. Okay, I have two butthole stories. So one time I met this guy on Tinder and I made the dumb mistake of letting him sleep over, like not really wanting to fucking hook up. And I like woke up in the morning and like my asshole was a little sore. Oh my God. And I remember that he what kind of porn do you watch when you use a vibrator?
Okay, not gonna lie, I don't watch porn while using a vibrator. What? I just think my imagination is vibration enough.
What?
I'm just thinking of like my own husband while I'm like doing it.
Wait, that's kind of baller, but I could never do that.
Yeah. And so I was
using you and your husband split finances, and I'm gonna be really fucking honest.
I don't.
We don't.
We don't.
We don't.
First of all, that's a fucking red flag. I'm not like, no joke. I love you girls. If you want to work, all for that, whatever. But like any man that doesn't want to have a joint bank account or isn't being transparent with his accounts or has separate accounts, that's a fucking red flag. This is not a two-way street. This is a one-way street. His money is our money, and my money is my money. And look, have I only made $600 from content creating?
Wow, I went up $100 from last week.
But that's my money! Okay?
I don't know if you watch The Boys, but I love him on The Boys.
I never...
You can't fix those kinds of people? Yeah, well, you're not trying to. You're trying to humiliate them. She got something? No, she had like a bruise or something, but just the whole demeanor. I mean, what kind of context? She's a married woman. What kind of context would make that cool? Yeah, this is trash content. This is reality. What we're seeing here, this is reality. She's an idiot. How can you mock Akash any further? Just when he thought it couldn't get any worse.
But like, he's on my hall pass list.
Oh yeah.
Chase Crawford, Jacob Elordi, Austin Butler, and who else?
Do you know why I think I have like a good marriage? I think it's because my husband's never here.
Okay, so I've been getting a lot
That's
of comments
crazy.
that I'm using my husband for clout, and yeah, that's exactly what it is. No lies were told. I am leveraging the support I have. It's kind of like nepotism, but like through my husband, so like spousal nepotism. What's wrong with that?
Bruh. Don't you just fucking hate that? Angel Tate is in the Black Eye Club now. Tate is fighting on. Okay, we're talking about it. You got a fight coming up. Yeah, it makes a lot more sense if Tate has a black eye than like Elon Musk, you know? As you get older, your tolerance for garbo people / media exponentially goes close to zero. Yeah, but this is our society now, so it's like, you know? Like, dude, this is just fucking crazy. Like, imagine marrying this bitch. Olay. Ugh. Tate is fighting Chase DeMar. Oh, what did Nick tweet? So now Ben Shapiro, Rainey Fine, and Lindsey Graham are considered MAGA, but Marjorie Greene, Tucker Carlson, and Thomas Massey are not. Your Israel First Make Israel Great Again movement is dead. The America First movement is the future. So true, King. So true. Isn't that funny? Isn't that funny? If they want MAGA, okay, you can have it. Trump's going down with the ship anyway. So. Yeah. It's so sad to see Donald J. Trump bend the knee so easily. It is what it is. It was always like this, to be honest. I guess now it's just more obvious. You what?
$32,000 in sub revenue, which means someone on my top 10 gifted leaderboard refunded their subs from the subathon.
Well, Tarkov comes out tomorrow morning. Tarkov 1.0. After so many years of waiting, I know. Talk about games for a second. That's kind of all the news I think for today that I think I really care about, that I've heard. Matt Walsh, Mamau. Dude, you can't push America first, America only when you work for Ben Shapiro. Come on, bro. This is like, it was bad before. This is just getting ridiculous. Is there anything else interesting going on? I haven't really checked Rerum in a minute. Did they get rid of the cheaters in 1.0? I don't know. No idea. They said they've got... Well, of course they like, said they had something planned or whatever that they're hoping it'll be really good, but I don't know. 1.0's not out yet. I can't really speak on that, but that's why I stopped playing Tarkov. Was one, the game doesn't really respect your time. And two, the cheating was just ridiculous. Tarkov stream 1.0? Yeah, maybe I'll do a gaming stream tomorrow. Maybe I'll play some Tarkov. But the thing about Tarkov is I feel like I have a harder time being interactive while also playing the game because I'm fucking sound whoring, you know? I'm in it. I'm like, those footsteps, no gunshots over there. I'm like locked in, you know? Because I know if I die and I get sent back to the fucking lobby, it's gonna take like 8 minutes to get into another game, to gear up my PMC again, like select the map, matchmake, load into the map. So, Tarkov is where you found me? Really? Not CS? Interesting. But you never played Tarkov, that's crazy. Massey must be laughing right now watching Trump self-destruct. Yeah, I'm sure he's feeling pretty vindicated right now. Clink. Yeah. But it's true. Dude, MAGA is dead. While you guys are here, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, turn on notifications by hitting the bell. Follow all my socials, all that good stuff. Leave a comment. All that good stuff. Get my shilling out of the way. No, it seems stressful. I much prefer watching someone else rage than rage myself. It is a stressful game, but it's like fun, you know? Peanut, the burnt peanut, he's blown up, dude. It's kind of crazy. no, you guys probably. We're gonna look into the streaming world right now, but this right here is one of the biggest gaming streamers right now. And he's a peanut.
Myth, are you sure you didn't set up like a hotkey to mute the Discord or something?
You can't leave comments? Why not? Did something break? Or did you get banned? Like, did they restrict your ability to leave comments? Get in trouble?
Where's GG Peanut? I don't know. I'm not GG's handler. What are you talking about? I don't know. Do we ever fix the music? No.
Am I gonna get in trouble on YouTube if I'm watching someone? I might get in trouble if I do this. Let me get out of here. Dude, it's crazy having that much energy. Like, dude. Like, I just yap. I've been yapping for like 2 hours and 40 minutes, and like I'm already feeling it, you know? Maybe you were banned? What does it say when you try to leave a comment? I don't know. Comments are disabled? Is that true for everyone? Hang on. That can't be right. Like if I go to like... Huh? I'll figure out why they're fucking disabled. Fucking hell. YouTube. Fucking dogging me. Okay. All right. Well, let me try this. I guess they were turned off somehow. I don't know why though. I didn't do that.
Выживет только тот хищник, который всегда впереди. Этому я и учу.
Was it time? Did you miss it? Wait, time. Oh. What, for a little emotion? No, I haven't felt emotional just yet. I guess somewhere along the way, comments got turned off. So I'm just re-enabling them on all these old streams. I don't know what would have caused that. I was skipping home yesterday, anticipating leaving my poorly produced comment, and then I was banned. No, you're not banned. You're not banned. You're not banned. It was. I don't think it was. I don't remember turning off comments. I guess it's possible that because whenever I go live, I reuse the settings from a previous stream. So maybe somewhere along the way, one of those streams had comments turned off, which I would never intentionally do. So either I misclicked at one point, or maybe YouTube did something. Maybe when my stream went down one time, maybe they automatically turned comments off. I don't know. But you should be able to leave a comment now. They're back on. 9mm is superior all-around ammunition, by the way. For, like, what the? I mean... So, this game's dropping tomorrow. Finally, after years of waiting. So, maybe I'll play it tomorrow. Maybe I'll do a gaming stream, because usually there's nothing to talk about on the weekend anyway. So maybe I'll do a gaming stream or two over the next couple days. Yeah, Louise isn't here. It just feels wrong. It feels wrong, you know, playing it without it. Oh, that's crazy. Dude.
We know how to scream at each other. We know how to rant at each other through a phone screen.
Brylin. Brillin.
And we certainly know how to assassinate somebody. But we...
Dude. Not even gonna waste time on that. She has gone far left. Dude, it's just like... makes no fucking sense. She's gone far left. You know, like, boomers will eat that up. She's woke now. What does that even mean? What does that even mean, dude? Anyway. Dude, I'm really starting to feel it in my voice. Too much yapping, man. Is it time for some slop? Maybe a little bit of slop. I don't even know what I'm in the mood for, to be honest. I'm at a loss. I've talked about everything I wanted to talk about. I didn't even want to cover politics today, but here we are. Now... I don't really want to do a deep dive on stuff. I'm losing steam here. I'm a little fried. I need something with a little more lighthearted, you know? A little more fun. I really don't know. I don't... Guys have any ideas? How is Janassa? I don't use her anymore. Chase Damara egg throw. That's who Tate is fighting. I don't know if I care, to be honest. Yeah, my little Skyrim playthrough. Yeah, I've gotten so powerful, you know? Remember I was struggling with bandits and wildlife? Now I'm just like a Giga Chad. Just different ballgame, so powerful. Master Wizard. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I'm pretty uninspired right now. I don't. Because a lot of the stuff is like gaming stuff, which a lot of you guys don't care about, which is fine. I figured I'll do something like this. I'll probably leave most of the gaming stuff to the weekends and towards the end of streams if I do them on the weekdays. Just because nothing happens on the weekends typically. It's like, what would I really talk about? You know, I just feel like reacting to a lot of this stuff, I think is, you know, it's like we can go like the slop route and do like, shit, who does all of those like, it's not Vox. Like, Republican debates 20 liberals. What's that, Jubilee? Like, we could go the slop route and just react to, like, bullshit Jubilee videos. This stuff really is pretty slop.
Rejection is just redirection.
Can we be friends? Just so you can say things like that every day?
You know, it's like,
My name is Danny Quintaro. Sean Weiss.
Amber Frank.
Nina Liu. Ainsley Bailey.
like, I don't think, like, how many novel takes can you really have on something like this? And I just think in the Big 25 is just, like, kind of obvious. You know what I mean? For a lot of this content, it's just, like, not really breaking any new ground. I just don't think it's really all that thought-provoking, a lot of this stuff. You hate Jubilee? Yeah, it's pretty slop. It's like... Oh, Luke Beasley, bro. Gen Z liberal, dude. Dude, this guy fucking sucks. This man needs to be deported. Not just from America, but also from the UK. This is like, just lowest common denominator, like... Yeah, PBD. Okay. Conspiracy theorists. Oh yeah, Michael Knowles. Yeah. Oh boy, Ben Shapiro versus like 25 turbo libs. It's like, huh. It's who do you hate more? Middle ground. Candace Owens versus 20 feminists? Bruh, she is a feminist. That's what people don't understand, man. All these right-wing women, conservative women, are actually feminists. The moment they're pushed, the moment they're put in their place by a man, all of a sudden they want to speak their mind. Doesn't work that way. Am I gonna review the Frankenstein movie? We need to give the censor AI on its toes. Yeah, we'll get my fucking stream pulled down again. Man, they're really brutal with that. I don't know how I'm gonna do movie reviews anymore. if I can't even watch trailers? Fucking cooked, man. I would have to do like a full-on like edited video and all that, and that's a lot of time and effort, you know? And you know, that's, I don't know, a lot to dedicate to like one kind of like bit, you know? Hopefully, as the channel grows, someday I want to get like an editor. That would be like the first thing. When I monetize a channel, hopefully, I guess I shouldn't get ahead of myself, but if I'm able to monetize a channel and I start growing or whatever, that would be like the first investment I make, is getting like a full-time editor. That's like a necessity, frankly. Just pump out content as much as possible. And as soon as I break even, as soon as I get like all excess money, would go to hiring a second editor and then a third editor, you know? Because that's just like something I've noticed, like all these channels, it's just like a constant stream of content. You look at like Asmongold's channel, you look at what blows up on TikTok, it's like, because you need like a certain baseline quality, and then you just need to like, such that it's like good enough, slightly better than the competition so people click on it, and then you put out a consistent stream of that and the algorithm will pick up on it. Like that's the name of the game. But there's no way through the grind of editing and all that, and that's not really my forte. Your editor would tell you when it's time. Yeah, true. I'll be like Mark Levin, what do you think about that, Mr. Producer? Mr. Producer hit me back with, it's time. Son of a bitch. You're fired. You're fired. My own producer, my own editor, and my own dojo. But yeah, that's a ways away, you know? Tough out here, man. It's tough. It's all about like, just it's the constant grind. It's not really one of my strengths, you know? In case you couldn't tell. In case you couldn't tell. Not exactly one of my strengths is like the consistent and timely, you know, clanker editor. Dude, if I could pay for an AI service that would chop up, like, I would do that in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. To make TikTok clips, thumbnails, full edited videos of the segments on here, and to like add jokes and what, like, that's, please. I would pay for that. 100% I would pay for that. But then everyone will start doing that. I don't know. Just keep adding nodes as you grow, yeah. Fuck, man. Because when I'm editing, I'm not streaming. And I'm also not really, like, learning new stuff. I'm not, you know, going out there and looking at stuff to talk about or anything like that. So, opportunity costs to everything. But whatever. Yappersville, am I right? When is Nick going live? Probably, oh, he's going live at 10. He actually just posted. Yeah, he posted on Telegram. So basically, I was right about everything. I told you it would be like this, live at 10 p.m. So, he'll be live in about half an hour. But I'm not gonna lie to you, my voice is really I'm really starting to feel it. I'm like drinking water, but maybe need to like gargle or something. I don't know. Did I play Elden Ring? Yep. I played Elden Ring. Great game. I played this mod called Reforged. And I also did that seamless co-op mod, so I was playing with a friend. I highly recommend it. I think that's the best way to play Elden Ring, is that mod. Nick is still asleep, sleepy Mexican. No, he's awake. He just posted. 10 minutes ago. He's awake. Did I play Night Rain? I did. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I think it's most fun with friends. You really want the motion, huh? Yeah, I think I might get out of here because dude, like it's starting to hurt. My voice is actually starting to hurt. Too much yapping, man. I don't know. There's a new Night Rain coming out next month. Yeah, like DLC, right? I saw that. That was Nick's producer. Yeah, it's Nick's Clanker. Yeah. Oh, $15 DLC. Forsaken Shadows. What does this have? So it has some of the monsters from Shadow of the Erd Tree, it looks like. Looks pretty cool. I don't know if I'm going to get it, though, to be honest. What does it come with? 2 new Nightfarers, 2-day 3 bosses, additional Shifting Earth, and more. I mean, $15 is not bad. I just don't think I'm going to be playing it. I'm going to be between Battlefield 6, Arc Raiders, Tarkov. I'm going to be playing anything else. Probably still be playing Skyrim for the millionth time. I just don't see myself playing that, to be honest. Arc Raiders is like, it's so fucking good. And I'm sure Tarkov is going to be fun. And Battlefield 6 is still banging. So yeah, I don't know. You know, I had fun with Night Rain. I hated it at first. I really didn't like it, to be honest. I really didn't like it when I first started playing. Which is crazy because I really liked Elden Ring. Then I played like every FromSoft game since Dark Souls. But I was ready to refund it, but I don't know, then something clicked and I really liked it.
The aftermath of the long night. I suppose it must be fate at work again.
That looks cool. I have a collector's edition. That's crazy. But yeah, if you're a fan of Elden Ring, and you play it on PC, you should look into the Reforged mod. Unironically, I think it's the best way to play Elden Ring. It's so much better. And I say that as somebody I really liked, obviously I really liked the base vanilla Elden Ring, but that mod is awesome. It like fixes so many of the criticisms that people have of Elden Ring. So I'm excited to see what they're adding. With Tarkov 1.0 that drops tomorrow in like 8 hours. Or Fallout 5. Hey, what about Fallout 5? Fallout 5, we don't know when that's coming out. But I don't know, dude. I think Bethesda have lost their touch. Just a different team. Elder Scrolls 6 was originally supposed to come out next year. We'll see. Todd said after Elder Scrolls. Yeah, I know. I just don't see how they live up to expectations. Especially after Starfield and Fallout 4. I don't know, man. I just don't see how they... I don't know. Am I the one who was excited for Starfield? I was too, but it was just so incredibly mid. It was so incredibly mid. And, yeah, yeah. And the problem, I think, some games have good bones, and you can work with that. Starfield, I think, had flawed bones. And for that reason, I just think that, like, the modding community, I don't think will pick that game up and turn it into something amazing. Not the way they did with, like, Skyrim. You know, and Skyrim was an incredible game in its own right, but dude, Skyrim in 2025 is like a different beast. It is like a next gen RPG experience. Like some of these mod lists people are putting together. And I played one of them on stream for a bit, called Lauren. Like, dude, that is like what could have been the vision. You realize like how shallow Skyrim vanilla really is. And maybe that's not fair because, you know, we've had like what? When did it 14 years of mods essentially and community work on that game. It's like the most modded game of all time. So I hope that they took a lot of notes from what the modders were doing, because it's really impressive. I saw Starfield as what Mass Effect could have been. Did they make a Fallout 3 on a new engine? I'd buy it. That's rumored, yeah. It's rumored that they're remastering Fallout 3, because they just remastered Oblivion. And I thought that was overall a dub. I thought that this was overall a very successful endeavor. They just dropped it. It had a ton of... It was a huge success. It was like faithful to the original game, but changed enough. And it just looks incredible. I mean, Unreal Engine 5, man. Very good looking game. But anyway. We think the reason why new games don't hit as hard is because the setting. Boston wasn't a great setting. You can make it a great setting, you know? Yeah, I mean, I would have preferred maybe like Chicago or even like New York or shit, I mean, even like Miami could have been cool. Or LA. Well, I guess not LA because of the timeline. The West Coast, you know, the NCR and everything, it's pretty civilized. But you could make it interesting. And the big problem with Fallout 4 was the writing sucked. The writing was not good. And there were tedious parts like the settlements. They retconned a few things. The art direction was questionable. But the writing was just not compelling. It did not suck you in. Pause. It did not pull you into the experience the way like Fallout New Vegas did. And part of the problem is you get to a point where, and you know, other Fallout and Bethesda games have suffered from this. But you like get to this point where it's like, why would you progress? When you're cool with all of the factions, you know, you're allowed into all the bases. It feels counterintuitive to your own interests to progress the main storyline, you know? I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Like, this is more of a detailed analysis, but 3 felt very spaced out. New games are just too condensed. Like, they need to give breathing room for exploration. I mean, yes and no. I don't know. It just depends, I think, on how you... Because it's not just about the world, it's also about how you traverse the world. It's about the world itself. Is the world interesting to travel through? You know what I mean? Like, let's look at Stalker 2, for example. Right, Stalker is like one of the most immersive games because it's just so atmospheric. And there's danger, there's the unknown. It's like this mysterious like wasteland in the Chernobyl exclusion zone. And the sound, the visual effects, it just makes it so immersive. And part of that is how you build the game. Is the game, are there actual dangers? Or like, does it just... Because part of like the big secret to like making it a compelling game is you want to have the player forget that they're playing a game. You don't want the player to like figure out the game mechanics to the point where you can like optimize or exploit them. Okay, there's a set spawn point here. Boom, one tap him as expected. 3 more guys are supposed to spawn right over that hill. That's a set spawn point. Boom, there they are. Here's my loot path. I'm gonna take that and we're gonna make 1,000,000 rubles in 5 minutes. Boom, that's like that totally destroys the experience. You know, and if the point is that this is a dangerous, ruthless world, then you always need to feel vulnerable, you know? I think like once the danger and the unknown are taken away, the game becomes boring. But that, you know. And they gotta reduce sprinting that skips areas quickly. Old games had good atmosphere. As far as sprinting goes, I'm fine with sprinting. I think it's a good mechanic. It's just, as far as spacing goes, the better way to put it is pacing. It's like how quickly are you traversing versus points of interest, you know? It's like, because you could remove sprinting, for example, but if all that does is increase the tedium of the game, that's not fun. And so what they often do in response is they'll shrink the world, because and conversely, if you do have sprinting, you can just sprint forever, then they feel like you're moving around too quickly, then they'll just make the world bigger. And so it all depends on like pacing, and much of that dictates the density of the game world too. Because like, let's say you design a game with sprint in mind, and so everything is bigger and more spaced out, but then you delete sprint, that's going to be fucking annoying. Because you're going to spend way more time moving around than is really, I think, immersive and fun. You don't want a walking simulator. But you also want, like you said, to enjoy the world that's been built. So, you know what game had the best setting and atmosphere? Which game?
For every scenario, depending on what kind of stalker you are and how you prefer to navigate the zone, you can upgrade your best friend with various attachments found along the way, installing them on the go to adapt to the exact fight at hand.
But Stalker came out, it was kind of half-baked. You know, because the devs are Ukrainian, and they had to like eventually get the game out of the door. So I haven't played this game in like a year, but they've had a number of updates. I wonder how the game is now. Resident Evil 1 remake, BioShock 1. Yeah, BioShock 1 was a very good game.
These guys can repair and upgrade your gear to suit your gunfight style, making it more specialized for specific
It's kind of goy slot, but it's still a very good game.
turning it into a versatile tool for any situation.
And the first BioShock scared you. Yeah, it was pretty creepy, man.
Is a unique place, but the laws of physics and ballistics still apply. Each gun
Ken Living said it took him 10 years.
and its effectiveness depends on the distance and the type of armor you're up against.
Well, isn't it funny? Then you had BioShock Infinite, and it's like a utopia, but they're heckin' racist, and so they, so then all the non-white people like blow up the utopia. You remember that? Like that was a plot point. Remember that? What were you trying to say, Ken Levine? Levine. Yeah, and Resident Evil, I never played 1, 2, or 3. I started with 4. And I haven't played any of the remakes. It's pretty cool. 80 Simulator, yeah. Don't you just love that? We have this incredibly clean society that's orderly, a marvel of engineering, and that's incredible in its own right, but it's secretly oppressive and authoritarian and racist, so it has to go down. Or maybe they're implying that that is always the outcome of those things. That's why it's Goyslop. People are like, whoa, it's so deep. I didn't think it was that deep. Like, I thought it was pretty easy to understand. But like, I haven't played it in like, what, 12 years or whatever, whenever it came out. And it's like, what, he's the bad guy at the end, right? Spoiler. And he had to go, there are multiple parallel universes, and so he has to kill himself. He has to die to prevent this from ever happening. It's like, okay, this is stupid. Yeah. But it was a good game. It was a good game. It was one of those games that I really enjoyed. You know, sometimes it's like kind of pretentious slop, but you can still enjoy it. Like BioShock 1 I thought was excellent despite all of that. And I still really enjoyed Infinite. I was just so sucked into the universe, you know? Very immersive. I like the characters they made. I just thought it was fun and interesting. I'll probably never replay it, but kind of reminds me of like Mass Effect 3, you know? To be honest, BioShock has every right to be pretentious. Have I played Force Unleashed? Yeah. That was a fun game. Game is great art style. Not when it's like, you understand like when, if it insists upon itself, you know? They're trying too hard to make the point. Trying too hard to be deep or profound, to the point where it stops being believable. The story, the narrative suffers if you try too hard. Candace Owens is live? What is she doing? She's not live. Oh, I guess she was live 3 hours ago. Still talking about Charlie Kirk, huh? Still talking about... Oh. Almost every show. Ah, dude. I'm pretty... The man's been dead. The man's been dead for over 2 months, and she's just fucking milking every drop of clout that she can from his cold, dead body. When will it end? Mass Effect 2, not 3. Well, I'm specifically talking about 3, because it's a game that I enjoyed despite its obvious problems. And I was sad when I finished it. I'm like, man, that really pulled me into the world. Maybe it was because I was young, I don't know. But, you know, the story, like the ending fucking sucked. It was a mess. And kind of fucked up the whole trilogy. But yeah, I think Mass Effect 2 was the goated one. Mass Effect 3 had better combat. That's kind of be to be expected. Cuphead. Never played Cuphead. For one, it didn't, but I can see for Infinite. Who watches her? What's her sub count? She's at 5.57 million. Yeah, I watch Harold content. How long can she milk Charlie? Who knows, man? Who fucking knows? I wonder what she'll believe in next. But she's produced some good text messages. But it's like, do we really need like 12 plus additional hours or whatever in between like actual things of substance? I don't know, man. I wish she would milk. Okay. Alright, calm down, kumquat. Who was perfect? Characters were just way too healing. Dane was your fave? Yeah. Garrus was the homie, man. He was ride or die. He was the homie. Ugh. Anyway. Yeah, Kai Schwimmer. Where was Kai Schwimmer? Where's the Mormon Mafia? Who is her base? White women, I'm guessing. Yeah, lots of women. Overwhelmingly just women, like moderate to conservative women. Like they love this insipid, like tabloid bullshit. And it's just to me so non-serious. And it's like one thing, okay, it's one thing to be non-serious. And I'm not saying you have to be like, I'm serious mode. Yeah, you can have fun and maybe engage in speculation or whatever. But you can't be wrong and double down every time you're wrong. And just make like really retarded, asinine claims and stuff. I just think she's just... I know this is like trite. I know you hear this all the time. But she really is just a narcissist. It's always about Candace. And not in like a cute or endearing kind of way. It's obnoxious and like misplaced and retarded. Like, for example, like Richard Spencer earned that right because he's a man and he's vindicated. But Candace, like, how often has she just been wrong? Whatever. Garrus was cool. Everyone except Jacob was cool. Yeah. Yeah, Koi Slop is for real. Typical black kind of way. Yeah, well, it's like pick your... Is it like black ethno-narcissism or is it female narcissism, you know? Or both of them. Is it both of them? I only stay for the Candace crash outs. Yeah. I am kind of tired of talking about her. But she just always pops in. And she's like one of the most relevant right-wing commentators, and it's like... We're not serious. Yeah, but all things considered, she really loved Charlie and is loyal, so she get a few points there type shit. Well, I get that. But at what point is it like, okay, she did her eulogy, now it's every day, and she gained 1 million subscribers in that time. At what point is it like, are you really doing this for Charlie's sake or his family's sake? Or for the sake of the truth? Or are you doing it because it's making you a lot of money? And making you relevant? Keeping you relevant, you know? I don't know. It's uncouth. It's definitely crossed into the uncouth territory. So... Imagine if Candace goes on Blind Date. It's Nick. Speaking of Nick, he should be live in 10 minutes. What is this fucking shit? Only lands? Let's see what, like, your average, like... This has to be, like, conservative, right? Some, like, milquetoast conservative. Let's see what they're talking about.
We give them $3.8 billion a year, and in exchange, they invest $48 billion in our military-industrial complex, big pharma.
Social media influencers.
They're talking about Israel.
I don't think it was invest. I think it was the U.S. return on that $3.8 billion investment is worth $48 billion a year.
Yeah.
But in that calculation, she's including the value of intelligence. So
Including
there's no way
$7,000
we can
post?
quantify that. So it's all bullshit.
I am curious. I want to hear Shipwreck talk about the MTG thing. We never even let her do it.
Yeah, do it.
I wonder ran for.
This seems like a really great panel.
I get what you're saying. Okay, so in the space to which we are in, I understand a little bit about the conspiracy and the 5D chess and the trying to read between the lines. I remember when Trump and Netanyahu came out and Trump was like, hey, we're going to go in Gaza.
At least they're on subject.
I remember it very differently because I remember Netanyahu's face just kind of falling, almost like he had no idea that he was going to say that, right?
Yeah.
But
yeah.
maybe, and okay, that's what I remember, but that's all right. So there's that. Okay, but then I'm also very tuned into the poor's house, which is the people that work 8, 12 hours a day, come home, do homework, give baths, eat dinner, then maybe get a half an hour to read into their news before they go to bed to get up and do it again the next day, right? I'm tuned into the people who don't get to be a part of this conspiracy mindset and who don't have the time to go all the way back or don't have the time or the energy or maybe even
get to the point.
They want, just this transparency. They just want their news given to them. They want to feel as informed as they can be, and they don't want to have to dig and read body language.
Maybe this is white pilling. Maybe this is white pilling that.
So that's where I'm kind of at with this. So when he comes out,
you get people like this that are.
Green, it's like I get it. I get there's some reading between the lines. I get that this could backfire. I get that this could have a point somewhere down the road. But right now, it just seems really super shitty when you've got an entire country who kind of believes her and kind of like agrees with her on a very grand level. Her stance with Israel, the Israel stuff.
That's
talked
shitty.
a lot about the economy, and she's parroting what her constituents are saying, that they're struggling, that there's no jobs.
No, I see what you're saying.
So, well, my question is, have you talked to Marjorie since this happened? Because, the only counter that I would have is number one, obviously Donald Trump is walking a very fine line here. He's trying to fix the H1B system.
Red pill 78. Red pill 78.
Economy. I agree with his assessment.
Maybe he's based.
It is not, we're not at the position where we can simply just send all the H1Bs home and be self-sufficient with these advanced manufacturing processes that we are bringing back here. It's obviously going to take some time to onboard American talent. Scott Bessent came out the next day after that interview, and he said, so we're reducing the number of H1Bs, and we are using this as an opportunity
to get companies to hire more fucking Americans.
She, from, hold on, I'm sorry. The labor secretary, I can't remember her name.
And then out of necessity, they will train the Americans.
And she said that they are
Chavez.
As they increase or rather decrease the number of existing H1Bs.
I don't know.
As they go home, they are training their replacement.
I knew there's a Chavez in there somewhere.
Yeah, so they are.
But none of this is happening.
Forward with the total revamping of the H1B system. She also echoed those statements that we are weaning ourselves off.
Watching any gaming video here, someone speaking so quick.
Not going to allow H1B visas.
Yeah, it's just
entry-level positions, which is a lot of what people are most upset about. If you don't have an engineering degree or an IT degree, and you're not trying to go for one of those jobs where you're getting screwed over already, it's not so much of a big deal. But theoretically, across the board, I don't want H1B visas at all. That's just something that we don't need as a country.
Based.
We never should have offshored all this manufacturing and production capacity. And
maybe he really is red pill 78.
The other counter that I would add to that is how do we know that Marjorie Taylor Greene and Donald Trump aren't having a conversation behind the scenes, and there is some kayfabe going on? And
that's what my comments is full of.
Yeah.
But that, and again, but that's, then what was the transparency? Just the friends that we made along the way? Is that what the transparency was?
Yeah.
You know what? Well, I got Tucker Carlson and I got the FBI director going head to head right now about Thomas Crooks the last 2 days. Okay, and he came out.
What would the kind of conversation behind the scenes be, though?
The only reason he did it is because Tucker did an entire show on Thomas Crooks with never before seen footage. Now all of a sudden, Cash Patel.
For whose benefit exactly?
And you're not saying anything different than what Marjorie Taylor Greene has been saying about the H1B 197.
It doesn't seem like Trump is budging.
That's her whole point. That's been her whole point. And just because she said it
on
The View,
this is kind of
for whatever reason. Why?
It's just so much fucking yapping, man. Get to the point. Is that just me? Am I crazy? Are they actually saying really cogent things, or am I just hating? Am I just a D1 hater, or is it just yap? Or is this what I sound like? Do I am I just yapping 24/7 aimlessly? Fuck, man. Ugh. Not gonna lie, yeah. Thanks, Kumquat. If your goal was to hurt me, well, you've hurt me deeply. You've succeeded. Fucking hell. My app is the best. Thank you, Smelly. Nice to know somebody appreciates me around here.
I'm just happy that it is over.
Well, that's not good.
It's behind us. What does this feel like?
That's no bueno. Yeah, okay, Kumquat. When I say that's not good, I mean it's not good what he did. Kumquat, I swear. It's on site. It's fucking on site. Jabs to the throat. Jabs on site. Roundhouse kick to your temple on site. On site. It's on site. You know what I meant. You know exactly what I meant. Yeah, you're going in the little boo-boo.
Visa Pro. My dear fellow Americans, I'm introducing a bill to completely eliminate the H1B visa program, which has been riddled with fraud and abuse and has been displacing American workers for decades. There will only be one exemption.
I hate shows with multiple speakers. Nick spoiled me by not having guests. There needs to be some kind of control, you know? I like it when there's a good guest. Like, I think Richard Spencer and Nick collabs are some of the best. And I think it's because it's for a different audience. Like, when they talk, like, they don't have to appeal to the lowest common denominator, and I think they both know that. So I appreciate those kinds of collabs way more. But I don't want to hear like 8 retards just filibustering, trying to like just spit it out, Unc. Spit it out, you know? Some woman trying to put together some kind of talking point she heard into context. It's like, spit it out, you know? I don't want to... And then they only get halfway through their point, and then somebody else interjects to do the exact same fucking thing. And it's like, what are we doing here? You know? I think 2 to 3 people, fine. Any more than that, 4, I think, is kind of bad. You're starting to get into shit tier territory, but like 2 to 3 max, I think you can have some good conversations. Speaking of collabs, that gaming stream was not it. With Cheese, the one that Nick did. I thought it was kind of funny. Yeah, like that. Yeah, I look, I thought there were some funny moments, but I definitely hear what you're saying. It was like some of them were trying a little too hard to be edgy. I think that one super chatter hit the nail on the head when he said like they're all like trying to one up each other, all trying to impress you. And he was like, yeah, it was pretty cute how everyone in there was trying to impress Nick by being like edgy and whatnot. It's like, don't you guys know? Edgelord humor is passe now. You're already behind. You're already behind. You're no longer. It's no longer really transgressive. Solo streams equal W. Nick and Spencer have equal IQ. That's different. Yeah, I mean, look, it all depends on who the speakers are, If you have a panel of retards, like, okay, you think, it's like, you think monkeys are going to discover fire? I don't think so. But if you have two high IQ people, especially if they disagree, and they're discussing their ideas, that's the best, I think. And of course, they're doing so in good faith. It's like they have a common goal, Nick and Richard Spencer, but they disagree on a couple of things. Those are like the best combos. And honestly, I feel like we're due for another Nick Spencer collab. Doesn't it usually happen around this time of year? But anyway.
In my bill, and it will allow for a $10,000 per year cap on visas issued to medical professionals like doctors and nurses who provide life-saving care to Americans. However, even this $10,000 per year cap will be phased out over 10 years to allow us time to build our own pipeline of American doctors.
The thing is, one thing I appreciate, and maybe she's right, maybe she's wrong, I appreciate she has an actual number and an actual timeline and the reasoning for it. One thing I and many other people are tired of as well, this administration, it's always some unspecific, ambiguous goal, non-serious. We're thinking about doing this. We want to do that. We're going to increase, JD Vance, we're going to increase deportations. It's like, please tell me more, sir. Serious people deal in specifics, and I appreciate that. I do. I like, and we could debate whether that's the right number, the wrong number, the right timeline, the wrong timeline, but we have a number and we have a timeline. That is good. That is a step in the right direction. That indicates to me you are more serious than these other people where it's all just rhetoric. So I do appreciate that. Bro's trying to predict the annual Spencer collab like it's a groundhog. It happens when it happens. Well, it's been a trend now, I think. Hasn't it happened like around this time for like 2 or 3 years in a row? I can't remember what. Maybe I'm pulling that shit on my ass. But I feel like now is a good time. Now would be a perfect time for that collab. Nick is vindicated, and frankly, Richard Spencer's vindicated. So, and I actually think Nick is coming closer to, especially when it comes to Ukraine and NATO, more towards Richard's point of view. So equal IQ doesn't mean equal strategy or equal influence. Cult of personality can and will trump all other measures. What does that mean? I don't even know what that means. In what context? That sounds like a platitude.
And physicians. My bill will also restore the original.
In terms of popularity, sure. Like charisma matters too. I mean, you might be the smartest guy in the room, but if you're not capable of being persuasive in your argument, then you're going to struggle to win people over, of course. That's why a lot of these movements, a lot of them, consist of teams. People that have different strengths and weaknesses. Some people are really good doing research, maybe writing, coming up with the ideas, the political theory, and maybe an executable plan. And then you have the leaders that, they're the visionary ones. They have the idea, and it's those high IQ other, whatever. I think you understand. Like, I hope that, but I don't know. I'm not really quite sure what you're trying to say. You should super chat Nick and ask him when he is talking to Richard Spencer. Yeah, that's a good idea. Cult of personality equals charisma. Yeah, I mean, you need charisma if you're going to be a leader. Very important. Absolutely, you need charisma. But, you know, IQ is like a prerequisite. Like, think of it that way. Like, you need a certain minimum IQ to be a successful leader. Otherwise, you'll just make bad decisions.
Temporary. These visas were intended to fulfill a specialty occupational need at a given time. People should not be allowed to come and live here forever. We thank them for their expertise, but we also wish them well so they may return to their home country. My bill will take away the pathway to citizenship, forcing visa holders to return home when their visa expires. In order to build our pipeline of American doctors and medical professionals, my bill will also prohibit Medicare-funded residency programs from admitting non-citizen medical students into their programs. Just last year alone, there were over 9,000 doctors in the U.S. who graduated from medical school but were left without a residency placement. Meanwhile, in 2023 alone, there were over 5,000 foreign-born doctors who received residency spots. This is entirely unfair, and it's America last. My bill will help mitigate the shortage of doctors and nurses in our country, the shortage that we face, while at the same time serve as an off-ramp from our reliance on foreign workers by allowing us time to fill our residency programs with American doctors. Now, this will completely end the H1B visa program in all other sectors in the job force and in the workforce. This is America first. It's time to put American citizens first instead of foreigners first. And this has gone on, and this has been an abuse for far too long. Americans deserve a future, they deserve a chance, and I believe Americans are the most talented people in the world, the most creative, and I want them to have their American dream. Thank you.
Well, that sounds great. Yeah, I mean, everything about that sounded pretty solid. And yeah, look, as far as MTG is going to be a vessel for America first, then I support that. So this is an interesting development. Very interesting. Certainly a very smart political move, I think, for her career, but a positive one nonetheless. So, right on. I wish her luck. I support this. And another thing. Just take note of who votes against it. That's like an easy... That's like an kind of an easy referendum, huh? That's like an easy way to gauge if somebody is... where to put the resources in primary season, you know? Who should be prioritized to boot out of Congress. So, is Nick live yet? Of course not. Someone reported your Twitter to your company. Did you get doxxed? That sucks. A lot of low IQ people have charisma. Most high IQ people will not take the chance that getting over on others will land them in prison. What? I think you're trying to say that high IQ people understand consequences more and understand that it's not really worth the risk to screw people over, but I don't know. I think there are a lot of high IQ people screwing a lot of people over. I mean, I mean, I guess there probably is a correlation between like, there's certainly a correlation between IQ and civility, but as far as morality, and it's hard to quantify that. I don't know. Probably. I mean, higher IQ people, because they can understand consequences, at the very least, they'll behave better. But then you often see it but then you shift into a type of crime or immorality that is kind of not possible for low IQ people. You know, it's more difficult for low IQ people to, like, I don't know, whatever, like do like a big rug pull or scam, insider trading or something like that. But they can certainly do more damage. An immoral high IQ person is like a supervillain, you know, because they can do way more damage. Like a dumb ape with the fucking like broadsword. Okay, yeah, like he'll fuck up the people in his vicinity, but he won't like destroy a country from within, you know? At least that individual. Maybe if you put a bunch of them in a country, yeah, but like a high IQ, like megamind, evil brainiac, whatever, can obviously do way more damage. Somebody like Netanyahu is way more, is far more damaging to the world, doing far more evil than like any like hood rat could ever be. But I feel like that's all obvious. I like how Aiden is like totally capitalizing off of the anti-Semitism. Is that not like the most Jewish thing ever? He sees the trend and he's leaning in so he can make more money. That's so funny. King Von was a deadly hood rat. If King Von was still wrong, he would have been the warlord of Chicago. Still walking. Yeah, you think so? King Von? And what would happen to King Von if, like, oh, I don't know, if the governor of Illinois decided that he just wanted him out? Or the president? Someone a little bit smarter, a little bit more power. What you know about King Von? I don't know anything about King Von, really.
What a fucking asshole. Jeez, oh my god, what the fuck? Sorry, but what the fuck?
Middle-aged white man with a mustache and a Hawaiian shirt is speaking. Please listen, since it's time to listen. Middle-aged white man with a mustache and a Hawaiian shirt is speaking. Please listen, since it's time to listen.
So true. Ah, yes, Jonathan Pollard.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, העתיר הסורים.
זה רגע מרגש נורא שיונתן ואסתר הם בבית, חזרו הביתה. כמה טוב שהם באו הביתה.
We are ecstatic to be home at last after 35 years. And we thank the people and the Prime Minister of Israel for bringing us home. What a moment. What a moment.
Yeah, Miriam Adelson that lobbied to get him, to free him. He said that every Jew should have dual loyalty. Every Jew should have dual loyalty. So, anyway, I'm tired. I'm out of steam. My voice is hurting. Nick is gonna go live any second now. Any second. Any second now. He said 10 o'clock. So, I'm gonna bounce on out of here. We stream for just around 4 hours. That's what usually that's when I tap out. Because it's hard to yap for this much, for this long. Yeah. Don't forget to like the stream. Comment. Hopefully that's working now. Leave a comment. What are your thoughts? Helps out the algo and all that. Hit the bell notification to stay up to date on everything whenever I go live, whenever I post anything on YouTube. I just the fuck are wrong? The fuck is wrong with people, bro? Sometimes just the fucking out of pocket stuff. Yeah. Socials in description. Thank you guys for watching. I'm thinking about doing one or two streams this weekend just for fun. Something different, gaming, not serious, just hanging out. Unless something happens this weekend that's worthy of talking about, it'll probably be a slow couple of news days. So I might go live tomorrow or Sunday. And if I do, it'll be pretty laid back. But okay, fine. All right. You're right. I've been cucking you guys for too long. So, I need a haircut, dude. Holy shit. It's out of control, man. This should be the outro. I should make this the outro song. That's a good idea. It was my my interlude, my intermission, but I think it's better as an outro. Where's M-Goat? I don't know, he was here earlier. He's not here to appreciate. It is a banger. No kids. Huh. Yeah, so true. Yeah, this is fucking ridiculous. This should be banned. I don't want to talk to a fucking somebody on the other side of the planet when I'm ordering a sandwich. I don't want to talk to a fucking clanker. Is that too much to ask? Actually, no, I take that back. Maybe clankers are better than some of these people. Yeah, on second thought, you know what? Maybe I would rather speak to a Roomba than, like, some of these people. Louise becomes a doctor and then MTG deports him. 07, hey, you know? Sometimes, hey. It is what it is. Sometimes you gotta crack a few eggs to make an omelet. Have a good night, bro. Don't sleep on the power of prayers for others. True. 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 Everybody, I don't really have a specific thing to call to prayer for at the moment, but, yeah. Thoughts and prayers, and, I want to touch a screen menu when I walk into a fast food place. And your order will still be fucked up, so it doesn't even matter. Anyway. 07, good night, everyone. Yeah, I'll see you guys maybe tomorrow. We'll see. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe I'll do a little gaming stream. Just, you know, having fun, chilling, hanging out, but I'll catch you guys all later. Saint Nick is always a good one. He guides us to the truth. Saint Nick. You guys ever pray to, or not, you know, ask for intercession from Saint Anthony if you ever lose something? You know? I think I've done that. I've done that a couple times. I have found the thing I was looking for one time. The other time, I realized exactly where I lost it. It's gone forever. But, yeah. Anyway, guys, take it easy. I'll see you guys all next time. Probably, maybe, potentially, tomorrow. Yeah. Yeah, your mom always loses her keys. Yeah. Good night, everyone, and God bless.